Chapter 2032. Deep within a certain earth trench in central continent. Calamity Luck Altar quietly floated in the air. There were tall and steep cliffs on both sides. Below it was a bottomless abyss. Calamity Luck Altar gave off a faint light. Its aura was not concealed at all. Any beast that tried to invade it would be chased away by it. And in the cliffs, there was a huge cave that Fairy Myrtle and the rest had created. Purple light flickered in the cave, a wisdom path formation was set up. Fairy Myrtle sat in the center, while Old Man Zhang Yuan sat in a supporting position. On one hand, he used human path methods to cooperate with Fairy Myrtle. On the other hand, he had control over a portion of the immortal formation to guard against Bing Sichuan. After all, this was the first time these two sides were cooperating. They could not be too careful. At the periphery of the formation, there were also several formation cores. Bai Ningbing, He Lulan, and Ying Wuxie were in the formation cores. They were the most crucial clues. Purple light flickered, rising and falling like tides. After a long while, Fairy Myrtle slowly opened her eyes, stopping this wisdom path immortal formation. The overflowing purple aurora gradually dissipated. How is it? Bing Sichuan's question came from Calamity Luck Altar. Fairy Myrtle shook her head, sighing. There is still some way to go. But this method is definitely effective. These three have signed an alliance agreement with Fang Yuan. They are the closest. As long as we capture more similar GU immortals, we will be able to deduce Fang Yuan's exact location. The formation was dismantled. The GU worms flew back into Fairy Myrtle's immortal aperture. Ying Wuxie and the rest stood up. Bai Ningbing smiled lightly. This is not difficult. During the Fate War, Fang Yuan did not just send us, he also sent a large number of transformation path GU immortals. He Lulan added, according to what I know, these transformation path GU immortals were recruited by Fang Yuan after he annexed an immemorial grotto heaven. After the Destiny formation, Fang Yuan disappeared, and his whereabouts are unknown. These people are now scattered all over the Zhengzhou state. Ying Wuxie shook his head, but these transformation path GU immortals do not have a close relationship with Fang Yuan. We should find Lady White Rabbit and Fairy Miao Yin. These two are crucial people second only to us. Fairy Myrtle had finally collected all the GU worms used to set up the formation. She did not have formation flag GU or similar methods. Every time she collected the formation, she would have to dismantle the formation. It was quite troublesome. She looked at Calamity Luck Altar that had been guarding at the side. Then why don't we split into two groups and search for White Rabbit and Miao Yin? If you encounter Fang Yuan's transformation path GU immortals along the way, you can act accordingly. Bing Sichuan's reply came from Calamity Luck Altar. Sure. We still need to communicate more about our future cooperation. Fairy Myrtle nodded. Of course. Even though this cooperation was small in scale and took a short time, it had a huge significance. Both sides started to trust each other. Thus, Calamity Luck Altar took away He Lulan, while Bai Ningbing and Ying Wuxie stayed with Fairy Myrtle. The two sides continued to move separately. Immemorial Two Heavens. Crescent Moon Grotto Heaven. Fairy Crescent Moon, are you not surrendering even in death? Xiao He Jian, Lady Cold Ash, and the rest looked down at the dying GU immortal in the ruins. Fairy Crescent Moon had rank 8 cultivation level. She was the owner of Crescent Moon Grotto Heaven. She had the terrain advantage, but she could not fight against so many enemies. She was on her last breath now. She spat, her face filled with hatred. You bunch of bandits, my Crescent Moon Grotto Heaven stands aloof from worldly affairs. We did not provoke you at all, nor do we have any grand ambitions. I will not surrender to you. Then go and die. Lady Cold Ash was already impatient. She pointed with her finger as a grey rainbow shot out, piercing through Fairy Crescent Moon. Lady Cold Ash hooked her sleeves. Fairy Crescent Moon's soul flew into her hands along with the grey rainbow. This is a rank 8 GU immortal's soul. Devouring her is much more effective than devouring the soul core. It is also easier to absorb. Lady Cold Ash was spectral soul, but he had deceived the entire Wu Shui alliance. Xiao He Jian looked at her plainly. Lady Cold Ash, you were the vanguard in this battle. You slaughtered countless people and collected a vast number of mortal souls, as well as many GU immortal souls. These are your spoils of war. But this rank 8 soul was specially taken care of by Lord Alliance Leader. You cannot keep it for yourself. Spectral Soul was slightly stunned. He smiled as he handed this rank 8 soul to Xiao He-jian. Since Alliance Leader wants it, how can I dare to keep it? He snorted coldly in his mind. I will give this to you for now. In the future, I will settle all our debts with you. Xiao He-jian nodded in satisfaction. He received Fairy Crescent Moon's soul and consoled Lady Cold Ash. Let's go, let the others clean this place. Follow me to meet Alliance Leader and report the entire battle situation. I can finally get close to Wu Shuai. This is a good chance. Spectral Soul heard this and his heart shook. However, when the two immortals arrived at Dragon Palace, they only saw Wu Shuai's will sitting on the main seat. After Wu Shuai's will heard the report, he praised, Lady Cold Ash contributed the most in this attack on Crescent Moon Grotto Heaven. Not bad, work hard. It is our duty to work for Alliance Leader. Lady Cold Ash was very disappointed, but she had a smile on her face. All right, all of you can leave now. In the future, you will be rewarded according to your contributions. Wu Shuai's will waved his hand. The two left Dragon Palace. Spectral Soul was still unresigned. It is such a pity that I could not see Alliance Leader in person. Xiao He-jian glanced at her, feeling some disdain for Lady Cold Ash's character. She was still trying to flatter Alliance Leader when he was not present. He said plainly, do you think Lord Alliance Leader is someone you can meet whenever you want? To resolve the crisis of the Qi harvest fruit, he has been in closed cultivation in Dragon Palace. We only need to follow Alliance Leader's orders. Yes. Xiao He-jian's expression eased. He patted Lady Cold Ash's shoulder. Do your job well and follow me. One day, you will be able to climb up and play an important role in the Alliance. I will need to rely on Lord's guidance for all of this. Spectral Soul put on a show, but internally, he was planning when he could secretly capture this Xiao He-jian as well. It's good that you understand. Xiao He-jian smiled as he walked ahead. He joined the Alliance because of Qi Ju's true inheritance. He was alone and was constantly suppressed by Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and the others. But Xiao He-jian's strength surpassed ordinary rank 8s. He gradually gained a foothold in the Alliance and slowly gained some GU Immortals as his subordinates. Lady Cold Ash's performance in the recent battles was very outstanding. She displayed incredible battle strength. Even though she was a pure human, Xiao He-jian wanted to recruit her. On the other side, Granny Skeleton requests an audience. The doorman shouted. Granny Skeleton walked into the hall and saw Qi Ancestor on the main seat. She cupped her fists and said directly, Skeleton Grotto Heaven is willing to be under Qi Ancestor's command. Qi Ancestor nodded. Ha ha ha, Skeleton, you are a wise person. Join us, you will not regret it in the future. Granny Skeleton sighed and asked, I wonder when Lord Ancestor can get rid of the problem of the Qi harvest fruit. I have already made some progress, don't worry. Fang Yuan said as he changed the topic, but Skeleton Grotto Heaven is the closest to Crescent Moon Grotto Heaven. Now that Crescent Moon Grotto Heaven has fallen to Wu Shuai's side, I intend to send some GU Immortals to defend Skeleton Grotto Heaven. I hope you can cooperate with me. Granny Skeleton sighed. Even though Fang Yuan did not show the ability to resolve the Qi harvest fruit problem, due to the situation outside, Granny Skeleton could only lower her head and join Wu Shuai's side. In this situation, I really have no choice. Right now, there are almost no scattered Grotto Heavens in the immemorial Two Heavens. If they do not join Wu Shuai's side, they will be recruited by Qi Ancestor. Sigh, I wonder what the future will be like. Granny Skeleton did not get the answer she wanted. She left with a heavy heart. Fang Yuan's pressure was also increasing. Just now, a wisdom path great expert deduced about me. She is really powerful. Like Fairy Myrtle. Fairy Myrtle deduced about Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan naturally sensed it. This was equivalent to two people using wisdom path methods to fight across space. From my own luck, the situation is not good. The danger is coming, there is only a trace of hope. Even though Fang Yuan's cooking luck pot was only rank 7, he could see a portion of his luck, he could see a large part of it. Fang Yuan had already made some progress regarding the Qi harvest fruit. But as for how to refine the Heaven Path Dao marks, Fang Yuan was still at a loss. He was very clear that this trace of hope was in the Heaven Path Dao marks. Only by refining the heaven path Tao marks and recovering his strength could he break out of the danger in the near future. If he could not refine it or did not do it in time, it would be very dangerous. Chapter 2033. Western Desert. The intense battle between rank 8s was still continuing. Ching Cho roared furiously, its tongue shot out at lightning speed. Bam bam bam. The blood-red figures surrounding Ching Cho were easily pierced by its tongue, collapsing and exploding. Every time a blood-red figure exploded, Red Heart Traveler's face would turn paler. But his brows were tightly furrowed and his teeth were clenched. His fighting spirit did not decrease as he maintained the battlefield killer move with all his strength. At this rate, Red Heart Traveler will not be able to hold on for long. 9 Spiritual Fairy, who was fighting with Ching Cho, had been paying attention to Red Heart Traveler's condition. They had spent much effort to restrain Ching Cho, allowing Red Heart Traveler to maintain the battlefield killer move and trap this legendary immemorial desolate beast temporarily. However, Ching Cho possessed intelligence that was not inferior to humans. After it realized that it could not break this battlefield killer move, it focused its attacks on Red Heart Traveler in an attempt to break through. Once Red Heart Traveler could not hold on and the battlefield dissipated, Ching Cho would definitely leave. With this experience, it would definitely be extremely vigilant. It would be extremely difficult to capture it again in a short period of time. Forget it. I can only use this move. 9 Spiritual Fairy gritted her teeth, making an important decision. Immortal Killer move 9 Spiritual Transformations. Her body suddenly shook, and she returned to her human form from her beast form. She was a transformation path great expert. According to common sense, her battle strength should be higher after transformation. But now that she was in human form, her aura surged and was even stronger than before. 9 rays of light shot out of her immortal aperture, forming a huge 9-colored light barrier. The light barrier was divided into 9 layers, each layer was brightly colored. Ching Cho had been paying attention to Red Heart Traveler. 9 Spiritual Fairy's sudden eruption shocked it. It quickly diverted its firepower. But at this stage, 9 spiritual transformations could be considered to have completed its preparation. There were no more flaws. 9 Spiritual Fairy shouted. The 9-colored light barrier shook as the 9 layers of light fused into one, becoming extremely dazzling. Next, the mixed-colored light sphere transformed into a rhinoceros with a large head and small body. Its body was covered in colorful lights as it charged at Ching Cho. Ching Cho gave a strange cry. It temporarily gave up on Red Heart Traveler and charged at this rhinoceros without dodging. With a loud bang, the earth shook and the mountains shook. After the 2 enormous beings collided, it was actually Ching Cho that took a small step back, while the big-headed rhinoceros remained in place. Ching Cho was shocked and furious. It didn't expect this rhinoceros to be so powerful. In its view, this rainbow-colored rhinoceros was translucent. It could even see 9 Spiritual Fairy at the center. It did not give off the feeling of having a solid body. But after this clash, Ching Cho understood that this rainbow rhinoceros could only be stronger than its previous physical form. Ching Cho is at a disadvantage. This is the first time since the battle started. 9 Spirits Transformation is indeed worthy of being a legendary transformation path killer move. Red Heart Traveler was both happy and worried when he saw this scene. The price of using 9 Spirit Transformation was very high. After a GU Immortal cultivates it, they could only use it 9 times in their lifetime. 9 Spiritual Fairy chose to use one of such a precious killer move on Ching Cho. It showed her determination to obtain it. Ching Cho roared. Its ferocious nature was stimulated as it attacked 9 Spiritual Fairy again. But the mixed-colored light ball around 9 Spiritual Fairy suddenly changed from the big-headed rhinoceros to the southern Ming Fire Sparrow. The Fire Sparrow flapped its wings and soared into the sky. Ching Cho pounced on empty air. It had no time to raise its head and directly activated its defensive method. Sure enough, at the next moment, Ching Cho heard the sharp cry of the Fire Sparrow and its back was hit. With a whoosh, it was engulfed by the flames in the sky. Ching Cho's hurried defensive method only lasted for a few breaths of time before it was instantly broken. Ching Cho retaliated fiercely. Beast roars and bird cries contended with each other. The 2 sides were locked in a stalemate. Red Heart Traveler finally had a chance to catch his breath. He quickly adjusted his condition. He adjusted his breathing as he watched the battle, feeling worried. This Ching Cho is really thick-skinned, although it is at a disadvantage and the battle rhythm is firmly controlled by 9 spiritual fairy, it has sufficient stamina. In contrast, although 9 spiritual fairy has the upper hand and is in control of the battle situation, it cannot last for long. If there is no external help, it will definitely die from exhaustion if this drags on. Red Heart Traveler thought of this and decided to take a risk. He waited patiently, secretly accumulating strength. After waiting for a full 2 hours, he finally saw a chance to fight. There was only an instant of opportunity. Red Heart Traveler suddenly attacked. He spat out a mouthful of blood. This blood had a fragrant smell, it flew into the air and spun like a miniature blood sun. It shot out endless bloodlight as it charged at Ching Cho. Although Ching Cho was fighting 9 spiritual fairy, it had never let go of its guard against Red Heart Traveler. However, when it used a killer move to block this small blood lump, it was useless. The blood lump seemed to be illusory, it passed through the obstructions and landed on Ching Cho's head, turning into a red sun insignia. Ching Cho's expression changed, it found that each of its movements would involve the red sun insignia. This was an extremely powerful seal, it started to show its might, restraining its movements, interfering with its killer moves and lowering its fighting spirit. Damn it, damn it! Ching Cho roared angrily, unleashing a frenzied wave of attacks. 9 spiritual fairy fought with all her strength, but she was forced to retreat again and again. With a loud sound, Ching Cho finally broke Red Heart Traveler's battlefield killer move. However, a victorious smile appeared on Red Heart Traveler's face. Ching Cho's whole body was bound by blood threads. The source of these countless blood threads was the blood sun insignia at the center of its forehead. Success! Cough, cough, cough. Red Heart Traveler coughed out large mouthfuls of blood, his face was pale as paper. 9 spiritual fairy quickly suppressed Ching Cho, which was becoming slower and slower, while transmitting her voice. Red Heart Traveler, do you need my help? Red Heart Traveler shook his head, activating his killer move with difficulty. He endured the intense pain and started healing his injuries. 9 spiritual fairy spent a lot of effort to finally suppress Ching Cho. Looking at Ching Cho that was bound like a dumpling by the blood threads, 9 spiritual fairy praised. What method is this? You actually managed to capture Ching Cho. Red Heart Traveler barely managed to catch his breath, replying, this is a method I created on the spot, I have not named it yet. 9 spiritual fairy looked at Red Heart Traveler and could not help but stare at him. You are truly impressive. Red Heart Traveler shook his head, smiling bitterly, don't overestimate me. I discovered that Ching Cho's vital immortal GU is rank 8 hatred GU, that's why I created this move. If it were any other legendary immemorial, this would be a joke. The reason I was able to use this move was thanks to you disregarding the price and activating the killer move 9 spiritual transformation, giving me the chance to launch a sneak attack. 9 spiritual fairy also shook her head. Capturing Ching Cho is related to the plan to kill Fang Yuan. This is for the Celestial Court and the people of the world, why would I care about paying such a small price? But this hatred GU, is it the one recorded in the legends of Renzu? Yes. Red Heart Traveler nodded. 9 spiritual fairy sighed, this makes sense, why can Ching Cho distinguish its enemies? Unfortunately, it did not use its killer move completely. We will capture it and use hatred GU, with the Celestial Court's killer move, we will definitely be able to find the exact location of Fang Yuan, Spectral Soul, and the other demon. Red Heart Traveler restrained his aura, let's go, we cannot stay here for long. They had been fighting here for a long time, even though they used the battlefield killer move to save a lot of time and even concealed most of the traces of the battle, GU Immortals would definitely rush here to investigate. Not to mention other forces, Mo Clan's large group might be arriving soon. 9 spiritual fairy and Red Heart Traveler had been fighting for a long time, their conditions were not good, they immediately brought Ching Cho to Central Continent. Sure enough, after they left for a while, several GU Immortals from Mo Clan arrived in an immortal GU house with a fierce aura. There was an intense battle here. Even though there are few traces, we can see that it was a battle between rank 8s. No wonder our clan's GU Immortals died so quickly. Quickly chase, we have an immortal GU house, they can't have escaped far. Mo Clan's group followed the traces and chased after the two immortals of Celestial Court. Several days passed. Amidst the rumbling sandstorm, a GU master moved with difficulty. He came to the center of the battlefield and saw that the pit was already half buried by the sandstorm. He roared towards the sky. This person was the one who killed Peng Da and seized Thieving Heaven's true inheritance, Mo Li. He had gone through untold hardships to come here, wanting to see the true appearance of the murderer of his wife and child, but he was too late. I will definitely find you and tear you to shred. No matter who you are, what kind of monster you are, I want you to die. Mo Li knelt in the desert and roared towards the sky. And beside him, Peng Da's soul was floating. Peng Da sneered, "Hey, you are a mere mortal, you want to take revenge on an immortal beast. So what if it is an immortal beast?" Mo Li's eyes were blood red. He stared at Peng Da's soul with a malevolent expression. "I have Thieving Heaven's true inheritance, I have Thieving Heaven's true inheritance. I will definitely become a GU immortal and take revenge." Peng Da laughed. "There is another possibility. This immortal beast has already been killed by the GU immortals. You have no target to take revenge on." Mo Li was stunned. He was silent like a rock. After a while, he stretched out his hand and grabbed the throat of Peng Da's soul, acting like a madman. "No. It will not die. I will not allow it to die. It will definitely die in my hand." Mo Li continued to shout, "I want to become a GU immortal. I have Thieving Heaven's true inheritance. I will definitely take revenge. I will definitely take revenge. Speak, quickly explain to me how to use the next GU worm." Mo Li grabbed Peng Da's soul and activated his GU worm at the same time. Traces of white smoke quickly appeared at the place where Mo Li's palm touched Peng Da's soul, producing a sizzling sound. Peng Da's soul immediately let out a sharp scream. He was in great pain. I'll speak. This is called Circuit GU. Circuit GU? What in the world is that? Peng Da's soul hesitated. How do I explain this thing? You are not an otherworldly demon. You cannot understand what circuit is. Simply put, it is a path that lightning walks on. Mo Li immediately scoffed. What is so hard to understand about this? It is not like I haven't read the Legends of Ren Zhu. The Legends of Ren Zhu clearly recorded that in order to find a way out, Lightning GU chose to cooperate with Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance and eventually walked out of immemorial blue heaven. This should be the true meaning of circuit. Peng Da's soul was stunned. Mo Li praised, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable is truly worthy of being a venerable. He actually had such a wondrous idea. He must have obtained inspiration from the Legends of Ren Zhu to create Circuit GU. Chapter 2034. Forest Thunder Grotto Heaven. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord, you betrayed the Two Heavens Alliance and colluded with Qi-Si Ancestor. Your sins cannot be forgiven. Today will be the day you die. Xiao He Jian looked down from the sky. Behind him were a large number of GU immortals from the Two Heavens Alliance. They were all standing there expressionlessly, showing their strength in numbers. In contrast, the Forest Thunder Grotto Lord was alone. Facing the enemy troops alone, he was very powerless. The Forest Lightning Grotto Master let out a bitter laugh. Since I've been discovered by you, I won't refute anything. At that time, do you think I was willing to collude with the enemy? The Alliance wants to use my Forest Thunder Grotto Heaven's Qi Harvest Fruit as an experiment. Before this, the Alliance had tried several times, but none of them had succeeded. The Grotto Heavens that they had experimented with had all been destroyed. I joined the Two Heavens Alliance to protect myself. But now, I have to sacrifice my home. Since that's the case, I might as well surrender to the enemy. Perhaps there will be a new hope. Xiao He Jian frowned and snorted discontentedly. You have too little confidence in our Two Heavens Alliance and our Alliance Master Wu Shuai. Maybe you'll succeed this time. The Forest Lightning Grotto Master chuckled. If Alliance Chief Wu Shuai handles things fairly, I have nothing to say either. However, he was obviously protecting the mutants and sacrificing the humans. The Grotto Heavens used by the Alliance for testing are all human Grotto Heavens. Wu Shuai is a dragon man after all. I've seen through this alliance. All the human GU immortals present, watch carefully. Today, I will be your ending. After me, It will be your turn. Hearing this, the expressions of the human GU immortals present changed slightly. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord had undoubtedly spoken of their worries. Wu Shuai and Qi Si Ancestor were part of the same body. They had a tacit understanding. They were opposing each other on the surface, but they were actually peacefully dividing the forces of the two heavens. By now, there were no longer any neutral grotto heavens in the two heavens. All grotto heavens in the two heavens were either destroyed or submitted to Wu Shuai or Qi Si Ancestor. After the two major forces divided the fruit for 2 days, both sides stopped fighting and kept exploring ways to solve the problem of the Qi harvest fruit. Compared to Qi Si Ancestor, who was in closed cultivation, Wu Shuai's Qi path attainment was much weaker. Therefore, Wu Shuai's 2-day alliance could only keep experimenting. In order to pursue efficiency, their actions were very rough. The experiment of eradicating the Qi harvest fruit failed many times, and many grotto heavens self-destructed. When it was Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven's turn, Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven Lord was not willing to let his own grotto heaven become a gambling stake. He wanted to protect himself and to survive. He secretly contacted Qi Si Ancestor. He was truly an unlucky child. He did not know that Qi Si Ancestor and Wu Shuai were one body. Qi Si Ancestor was Fang Yuan's main body. He directly informed Wu Shuai. Wu Shuai thus ordered Xiao Hejian to gather a group of GU immortals and punish the traitors severely. Looking at the Forest Thunder Cave Master, Xiao Hejian sneered coldly and said impatiently, "Who will take down this criminal for me?" Lady Cold Ash stepped forward. "Let me do it." She had the attitude of a vanguard. Xiao Hejian nodded. "Very good." Seeing Lady Cold Ash charging towards Forest Lightning Grotto Lord, Xiao Hejian was overjoyed, thinking, "This Cold Ash is indeed perceptive and quite capable. My hard work in roping her in was not in vain." Lady Cold Ash and Forest Lightning Grotto Lord fought. Both were rank 8s. For a while, they were locked in a stalemate. The other GU immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance were watching the battle from the clouds. When GU immortals fought as a group, cooperation was very important. Different paths had conflicting Dao marks. If there was no exquisite cooperation, there would be huge internal friction instead. The losses would outweigh the gains. Of course, this did not prevent the spectating GU immortals from accumulating strength and launching sneak attacks when there was an opening. But the GU immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance did not find a good opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Lady Cold Ash gradually gained the upper hand and gained control. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord saw that the situation was bad and immediately escaped underground. Lady Cold Ash was Spectral Soul in disguise. How could Forest Lightning Grotto Lord resist her? The intense battle earlier was all a facade. It was just a performance by Spectral Soul. Xiao Hejian saw Forest Lightning Grotto Lord escaping and laughed loudly, waving his hand. "Chase!" The immortals surged forward. They did not care about the huge Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven. They only targeted Forest Lightning Grotto Lord. As long as they got rid of this one rank 8, the other resistance would not be a problem. They would even take the initiative to protect Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven's safety. After all, this Grotto Heaven was used as an experiment. If the resources inside were to be divided, they would have a share. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord continued to drill deep underground. Lady Cold Ash did not chase him. She stayed beside Xiao Hejian. Soon, the first wave of GU immortals who went deep underground returned with dejected expressions. Xiao Hejian was slightly stunned after hearing their report. There is such a thing? There is a lightning forest deep underground? The returning GU immortals naturally brought back evidence. Using methods like image GU, the immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance saw a vast lightning forest. In the pitch-black depths of the underground, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled at every moment. Lightning flashed time and time again, forming huge silver-white trees. The giant trees only existed for an instant, but the great thunder sound leaves, the forked silver lightning branches and so on were condensed into solid forms, tempting the immortals present. Amazing, these are all invaluable lightning path rank 8 immortal materials. This is only the surface wealth of the lightning forest. According to the legends of Renzu, the source of the lightning forest is lightning GU. A lightning forest of this scale is enough to prove that there is a rank 8 lightning GU here. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord wants to use Lightning GU to resist. This is wishful thinking. How can a mere rank 8 Immortal GU resist our Two Heavens Alliance? The Immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance discussed, but no one took the initiative to go. After all, the Lightning Forest was a dangerous area. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord had a huge geographical advantage here. Rashly invading was likely to be a thankless task. Xiao He Jian frowned. Who can go down and capture Forest Lightning Grotto Lord? Lady Cold Ash did not hesitate, she stood up again. Xiao He Jian revealed a satisfied smile. Cold Ash, if you win, you will have the greatest contribution in this battle. Thank you, Lord. Lady Cold Ash was about to move. Wait. Knight Heavenly Wolf Lord also walked out. The Lightning Forest is a dangerous place. Let me accompany immortal friend Cold Ash there. If there are any accidents, I can assist you. Let's do that. Xiao He Jian agreed to Knight Heavenly Wolf Lord's request. Thus, the two immortals charged underground, while the other GU immortals and Xiao He Jian stayed in the air, watching the battle while waiting patiently. Lady Cold Ash charged underground, arriving in front of the Lightning Forest. She opened her immortal aperture's entrance and let out countless soul beasts. The soul beasts charged into the Lightning Forest like a surging tide. Rumble. Lightning continued to strike down, explosions occurred continuously. The soul beasts suffered heavy losses, using countless lives to forcefully open up a path. Lady Cold Ash and Knight Heavenly Wolf Lord successfully charged into the depths of the Lightning Forest. I did not expect Lady Cold Ash to unravel the Lightning Forest like this. She really disregarded the cost. She is determined to curry favor with Xiao He Jian. There have been many rumors recently. It seems that Lord Alliance Leader wants to make Xiao He Jian the Vice Alliance Leader. Our alliance only has one Vice Alliance Leader, Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch. Lord Wu Shuai wants to balance his subordinates. It is not strange for him to make such an arrangement. Even though Lady Cold Ash is a human GU immortal, she does not want to end up like Forest Lightning Grotto Lord. Thus, she wholeheartedly wants to enter the Alliance's higher-ups and protect her Grotto Heaven. She has put in a lot of effort. The GU immortals watched the battle while conversing secretly. After a while, Lady Cold Ash and Knight Heavenly Wolf Lord reached the center of the Lightning Forest and saw Forest Lightning Grotto Lord again. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord was refining rank 8 Lightning GU. Seeing the two immortals, he quickly stopped the GU refinement and shouted furiously, "Stop! If you take another step forward, I will destroy this Lightning GU." Seeing this, the immortals could not help but be surprised. So this Lightning GU is still a wild immortal GU. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord did not refine it. What is going on? Haha, I understand. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord's ambition is not small. Oh, what do you mean? If I'm not wrong, this Lightning Forest was originally just an ordinary Lightning Path resource point. But at some point, a wild Lightning GU was produced. Because of this Lightning GU, the original Lightning Path resource point gradually turned into a small Lightning Forest. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord did not refine this wild Lightning GU, but added bricks and tiles to this Lightning Forest to help it grow and expand. As the scale of the Lightning Forest grows, its source Lightning GU also continues to grow. Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven continuously invested in it and finally made this wild Lightning GU advance to rank 8. The GU Immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance conversed and quickly understood the truth of Forest Lightning Grotto Lord's ambition. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord was a Lightning Path GU Immortal and was not proficient in Refinement Path. But this Lightning Forest was a natural evolution of the Heavenly Path. Nature was refining GU. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord ingeniously used the power of nature to continuously add fuel to the flames on the original foundation. His goal was to raise Lightning GU to the level of rank 9, and during this process, once he refined this wild immortal GU, the Heaven Path GU refinement process would be interrupted and could no longer be restored. Thus, Forest Lightning Grotto Lord kept this wild Lightning GU and did not refine it. Seizing other people's GU worms was an extremely difficult matter. But a wild immortal GU was different. A rank 8 wild immortal GU, and most importantly, it even had the possibility of advancing to rank 9. This discovery was extremely huge. Xiao He-jian and the rest could not help but open their eyes wide, revealing expressions of greed and wariness. This is an important matter, we cannot be rash. Xiao He-jian quickly transmitted to Lady Cold Ash and Night Heavenly Wolf Lord. Lady Cold Ash and Night Heavenly Wolf Lord paused their attacks. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord stated conditions: as long as you let me and Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven go, I can contribute this lightning GU to you. Xiao He-jian quickly contacted Wu Shuai and reported this matter. Chapter 2035. I have been in seclusion for a week, and I am very grateful to everyone for recommending various articles. I skimmed through these articles. They were all good articles. But among them, there are only 3 stories in the 3-body problem that are similar to my GU Dao Master. The similarity is that they are both fables, but the difference is that my The Legends of Ren Zhu is slightly longer and can be used as a complete single story. In the previous week, I had learned a lot. When they saw something good, they would open their mouths wide and stuff it down their necks. Only then did he finally finish the new chapter of The Legends of Ren Zhu. Tearful. I dug this hole myself, and now I can only bury it myself. Even if I have to bury myself in it, I have to fill the hole. Looking at the sky with tears in my eyes, I discovered that I had many shortcomings. For example, he always liked to make optimistic estimates, such as the plan to finish the book in May. How embarrassing. Covering face with tears. Another example was that he did not have a strong foundation in writing. If I had sufficient foundations, would I not be able to write The Legends of Ren Zhu? Recently, this feeling has become more and more intense. I feel more and more weak. There are so many things that I need to study and learn about writing. There are too many books worth reading, too many examples worth learning from. A week of seclusion was really too short. There wasn't much to learn. Previously, he said that he would not be able to repay the debt of double updates in April. I can't say for June, I really can't guarantee it. He was terrified and uneasy. Perhaps the updates would stabilize, but it was very possible that they would suddenly be stuck on The Legends of Ren Zhu, unable to continue. The main text wouldn't get stuck. But The Legends of Ren Zhu was definitely going to be stuck. It was definitely going to depend on one's state and inspiration. However, The Legends of Ren Zhu definitely had to be written well, and it had to be similar to the previous chapters. It had to be interspersed throughout the entire article, and it had to complement each other. Otherwise, this venomous GU Daoist would lose its grade. He had done so well in the beginning. If he couldn't do it well in the later stages, it would be such a pity. Not to mention you guys, I won't let myself go. Because of a moment of laziness and comfort, I gave up on this part of my hard work. I will definitely regret it in the future. This is my recent writing experience, and I would like to share it with everyone. I would also like to report my writing status, current progress, and so on. Chapter 2036. According to The Legends of Ren Zhu, Hatred GU and Lightning GU can form an extremely terrifying killer move that can destroy immemorial blue heaven. Fang Yuan looked at it carefully and thought, doesn't this mean that these 2 GU worms can counter Heaven Path? Where are the Heaven Path Dao marks most concentrated? It is undoubtedly the immemorial 9 heavens. Other than that, it is Fang Yuan's body. This seems to be a way to resolve my current predicament. Fang Yuan thought, but Lightning GU is here, without Hatred GU, it won't work. Where is this GU worm? Is there such an immortal GU? If not, how can I refine it? If there is, it will be even more troublesome. I will have to go and snatch it. In fact, even if I have these 2 core immortal GU, how to form the killer move is still a mystery. The Legends of Ren Zhu is too vague. Right at this time, Qin Dingling personally sent a letter from Celestial Court through jewel yellow skies. Fang Yuan opened it and saw that the letter GU directly described the matter of Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven. Qin Dingling was very enthusiastic about Lightning GU. She even asked Qi Ancestor to stop researching the Qi harvest fruit and lead his subordinates to cooperate with Celestial Court to obtain Lightning GU. Why is Celestial Court in such a hurry? Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light. Also, they obtained this information too quickly. It seems that they have placed a pawn on Wu Shuai's clone's side. Qin Dingling was not Fairy Myrtle after all. She was slightly impatient in her actions and allowed Fang Yuan, who had deep wisdom path attainment, to deduce some possibilities. In that case, Fang Yuan sneered, Celestial Court's urgent letter made him make up his mind. Forest lightning grotto heaven. Xiao Hejian's expression changed slightly. He had received Wu Shuai's order a moment ago. His gaze turned cold as he shouted, Alliance leader has ordered, kill Forest Lightning Grotto Lord, don't worry about Lightning GU. Losing a mere wild rank 8 immortal GU was nothing. They had to kill all the GU immortals in Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven, and then try to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit. Don't accept any resources from the Grotto Heaven. Do your best and complete the mission in the shortest time possible. What? Hearing this, be it Forest Lightning Grotto Lord, Lady Cold Ash, or Night Heavenly Wolf Lord, they were extremely shocked. This was a future rank 9 immortal GU, Wu Shuai gave it up just like that. For a moment, the three immortals did not make a move. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord was originally a spy in the Celestial Court, so he naturally wanted to protect Forest Thunder Grotto Lord and cause trouble for Wu Shuai's alliance. And Lady Cold Ash was actually Spectral Soul. He wanted to preserve this conflict and trigger an intense battle between Wu Shuai and Qi Si Ancestor. As long as there was a chaotic battle, it would bring him many good opportunities. Forest Lightning Grotto Master suddenly cried out in alarm, Xiao Hejian, you are extremely daring, you actually passed on a false life. Wu Shuai needed to expand his strength. How could he give up on a future rank 9 immortal GU? You really joined halfway and have wild ambitions. After being falsely accused by Forest Lightning Grotto Lord, Xiao Hejian's expression turned cold. He did not retort, instead he stared at Lady Cold Ash and Night Heavenly Wolf Lord with a sharp gaze. This is Alliance Leader's order. Do you believe a traitor or me? Quickly attack. Saying so, Xiao Hejian did not wait for them and attacked first. Bam bam bam, killer moves erupted, causing a large area of the lightning forest to collapse. Kill. The Alliance Immortals who were originally in the air also received Xiao Hejian's order and flew over, attacking this lightning forest together. With the situation like this, no matter what schemes Lady Cold Ash and Night Heavenly Wolf Lord had, they could only sigh helplessly and follow the tide. Wu Shuai, you are so vicious. You are so narrow-minded, you will definitely die a horrible death. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord knew that his death was near. He cursed viciously while exerting strength to destroy this lightning GU. Wishful thinking. At the next moment, Lady Cold Ash suddenly appeared behind him. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord suddenly stiffened. Lady Cold Ash took the chance to snatch the lightning GU from his hands in front of everyone. What method is this? The immortals were shocked. Although Spectral Soul's attainment level had fallen greatly, he still had many methods. The foundation of a Venerable was not something ordinary rank 8 GU immortals could estimate. Well done. Xiao Hejian was overjoyed. He did not have any hope of seizing lightning GU, but to think that he actually succeeded. This was Lady Cold Ash's contribution, it was also his contribution. At this point, his position as Vice Alliance Leader was already half done. The other half was to complete all of Wu Shuai's missions. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord counterattacked frantically. In order to protect Lightning GU, Lady Cold Ash had to endure many of his attacks and was injured on the spot. Quickly retreat and protect Lightning GU. Xiao Hejian quickly came to Lady Cold Ash's aid and blocked Forest Lightning Grotto Lord. To prevent any disturbances, the immortals started to watch Xiao Hejian fight Forest Lightning Grotto Lord alone. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord had already fought with Lady Cold Ash earlier. He was not in a good state and almost all of his methods were exposed. And in terms of battle strength, Xiao Hejian was even higher than Lady Cold Ash. There was no suspense in this battle. Soon, Xiao Hejian defeated Forest Lightning Grotto Lord. Forest Lightning Grotto Lord was not resigned to his defeat and still wanted to escape. But the surrounding GU immortals had already seen this and did not let Forest Lightning Grotto Lord escape from their encirclement. After Forest Lightning Grotto Lord's death, Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven was quickly destroyed. Wu Shuai's alliance's attempt to target the Qi harvest fruit also did not succeed. Moreover, Because Wu Shuai wanted to race against time, most of the resources in Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven were destroyed. The GU immortals who participated in the battle obtained very little. The biggest gain was that rank 8 Wild Lightning GU. But it was obvious that this had to be handed over to Alliance leader Wu Shuai. Fang Yuan thought about it for a while before finally deciding to cut the Gordian knot and directly eradicate Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven, not allowing the conflict to escalate. Wu Shuai's thunderous action not only shocked the Alliance immortals, it also caused Celestial Court's plan to fail. On Celestial Court's side, after Qin Ding Ling obtained first-hand information from Night Heavenly Wolf Lord, she immediately sent a message to Qi Si Ancestor. Fang Yuan received the letter, in which Qin Ding Ling still advocated snatching Lightning GU. Even if Lightning GU was already in Wu Shuai's Alliance's hands. Even if they could not snatch Lightning GU, they had to destroy it. It seems that Celestial Court is determined to obtain Lightning GU. Celestial Court should have Lightning Gu's immortal GU recipe. After destroying this immortal GU, Celestial Court can refine it themselves. Fang Yuan was even more curious. Why did Celestial Court urgently need Lightning GU? Why did the huge Celestial Court need this immortal GU so urgently? Lightning GU was not Fate GU. Fang Yuan did not know about Celestial Court's plan, but Qin Ding Ling's attitude caused Fang Yuan's plan to fail. The reason why Fang Yuan ordered Wu Shuai to destroy Forest Lightning Grotto Heaven, disregarding Lightning Gu's safety, was to eliminate the conflict in advance and prevent a war between the two sides. But now that Celestial Court had such an attitude and was eager to fight, Fang Yuan could not refuse openly. After all, Qi Si Ancestor was in an alliance with Celestial Court. Chapter 2037. Profound Literature Grotto Heaven. Capital City, Su Clan. In the courtyard of a certain guest room, there was a bookhouse. This bookhouse was a mortal GU house. It was shaped like a treehouse with lush green leaves and branches. At this moment, Li Xiaobai was sitting cross-legged in the house. A beautiful girl was standing in front of him. It was Su Qi Han. Su Qi Han's expression turned solemn. "Darling, have you really thought it through? Vital GU cannot be changed casually." Li Xiaobai nodded with a smile. "Qi Han, don't worry. I have thought it through. I am most interested in composing poems. Thus, to me, Poem Heart GU is the most suitable Vital GU. It is just that I did not have the conditions to change Vital GU casually. But since the power of this study room is extraordinary and has the function of assisting in the replacement of Vital GU, how can I let go of such an opportunity?" Su Qi Han sighed. "Since you have decided, I will not persuade you anymore. I'll stand guard outside the house." Millimeter Li Xiaobai did not stand on ceremony, he closed his eyes. Ever since he obtained the bookhouse inheritance, he returned to the capital city and reunited with Su Qi Han. Even though Li Xiaobai did not make it to the poetry competition, he had already proven himself. Su Qi Han invited him to stay in Su Clan for the time being. Nobody objected to it. It became a good topic for a while. Li Xiaobai was not stingy. After staying in Su Clan, he shared the bookhouse inheritance with Su Qi Han. The two spent almost all their time in the bookhouse, cultivating and researching as they interacted with each other. Even though the two became husband and wife due to a fortuitous encounter, they did not have much feelings for each other. Su Qi Han's actions earlier were mostly due to her own character. But after these days of interaction, Su Qi Han admired Li Xiaobai's talent even more. She liked him even more. Li Xiaobai obtained this fortuitous encounter. He did not hide it from Su Qi Han, he shared it with her. From this, Su Qi Han could see Li Xiaobai's pure and kind nature. He was willing to sacrifice for her. He was not a heartless scholar. Even though the two were not officially engaged, Su Qi Han had already treated Li Xiaobai as her only husband in this life. Su Qi Han walked out of the bookhouse. She was still worried. "Darling, this bookhouse has a high value. It contains many information path categories like poems and songs. However, these paths were limited to GU master cultivation. There was no path to GU immortal advancement. I have hinted to Li Lang many times that as long as he marries into our Su clan, he will be able to obtain the cultivation method of our Su clan's book Immortal. Unfortunately, Li Lang did not like calligraphy and wholeheartedly wanted to focus on poetry. Alas, since he likes it so much, there's nothing I can do to stop him. If he achieves nothing in the future and becomes a GU master, I will work hard to become a GU immortal and become an official of the imperial court. I will raise and protect him for the rest of my life. Watching him compose and recite poems, as long as he's happy, I'm happy. In profound literature paradise, there was a unified imperial court. The officials of the imperial court were all GU immortals. Su Chi Han was Su family's beloved daughter, the pearl of their palm. Her talent and talents were astonishing, so she naturally had access to Su family's cultivation method. Eldest miss, you should go and rest. It's tiring to stand. With us here, great scholar Li will definitely be safe. The guards and servants came forward to persuade Su Chi Han. Su Chi Han shook her head. All of you stand outside the courtyard and guard the door. I'll personally take care of Li Lang. The study room shook more and more. A faint light was emitted from inside that shone out of the window. 15 minutes later, the study room quieted down, the leaves and branches no longer shook. In the study room, Li Xiaobai slowly opened his eyes. The process of replacing his vital GU was very smooth. Li Xiaobai opened his internal vision and saw that there was a GU worm in his aperture that looked like a heart. It had the texture of red jade and was covered in a layer of faint golden light. It was the rank 5 GU worm that he had just replaced, Poem Heart. Poem Heart GU was an information path GU. It was a side path among the entire information path cultivation methods. Most of the information path cultivation methods were alliance oaths, like Sea Oath GU, Mountain Pledge GU, Promise GU, Black and White Paper GU. Next were communication GU, like Swan Goose GU, Paper Crane GU, Butterfly Letter GU, Flying Sword Letter GU, Flying Pigeon Letter GU and others. Next were reading, listening, reading and writing. For example, Water Word GU was a writing type GU. Beast Language GU was related to reading and speaking. Poems, songs, and so on were not mainstream. Li Xiaobai made such a choice. It was no wonder that Su Chi Han was worried about his future. But she did not know Li Xiaobai's true intentions. This Grotto Heaven's environment is special. It has the killer move help literary talent. As long as I create a good poem, I will be rewarded and advance rapidly. The 5 regions chaotic war is coming. This method of rapidly raising one's strength without any repercussions is the most precious. Although Su Chi Han can come into contact with GU immortal methods, she does not know the situation in the outside world. After changing to Poem Heart GU, next is to practice Poetry GU and Emotion Poetry GU, using Gather Poem GU to collect poems from the outside world and raise Poem Wall GU. I also need to practice Poetry Realm GU. This is a GU worm similar to a battlefield killer move. It is very outstanding. Just as Li Xiaobai was thinking, the door of the study room was pushed open. Su Chi Han walked into the room with a concerned gaze. Darling Li, Su Chi Han called out softly. Li Xiaobai smiled lightly, nodding at her. Everything is going smoothly. Su Chi Han's expression brightened, her watery eyes showed gentleness. That's good. Boom. Just as they spoke, the sky shook, a loud sound echoed throughout the world. What's going on? Li Xiaobai and Su Chi Han were alarmed. They quickly walked out of the room and saw that the sky was clear and blue. A gust of wind blew past them. The wind only lasted for a short period of time. After that, there was no other change. The mortals, GU masters, and even GU immortals living in the capital city felt this sudden and rapid change. Most people were baffled. Only a small portion of GU immortal officials knew the inside story. They were overjoyed. Success. Somewhere in profound literature Grotto Heaven, old immortal Hua Yu had an excited expression. He bowed deeply to Qi Si ancestor. Congratulations ancestor, you have unraveled the Qi harvest fruit. Ancestor saved profound literature Grotto Heaven. You have given me a new lease on life. From now on, if you need my help, I will do my best without any hesitation. Fang Yuan, who was acting as Qi Si ancestor, laughed heartily as he helped old immortal Hua Yu up. No need to be so polite. The immortals at the side were overjoyed. Ancestor is mighty. Wu Shuai's experiments have destroyed many Grotto Heavens. Ancestor's first attempt was a huge success. Wu Shuai cannot compare to him. I wonder when Ancestor can resolve the problem of the Qi harvest fruit for us? That's right, the Qi harvest fruits in our grotto heavens are already extremely huge. We are getting closer to self-detonation. The situation is very dangerous. The Jiyu immortals praised loudly as they urged Fang Yuan to take action again. Fang Yuan waved his hand. Even though this experiment succeeded, I sensed a flaw in it. I only need to cultivate for 3 more days to modify it. At that time, I will get rid of the problem for everyone. Wouldn't that be even better? The immortals were overjoyed. They said in unison, "We will listen to Ancestor's arrangement." Fang Yuan smiled, bright light flashing in his eyes. Celestial Court. Soon, Qin Dingling received the news. She showed joy on her face. Good, good. Back then, I chose to cooperate with Qi Si Ancestor. It was the right decision. Qi Si Ancestor did not disappoint them. Not only did he create a method to resolve the Qi harvest fruit, he even succeeded in one attempt. According to the information, not only had profound literature's abode safely eradicated the energy harvest fruit, but the explosion of the fruit had formed a harmless Qi tide that swiftly swept through the entire abode, increasing the resources of the abode by a great deal. Qin Dingling was in a good mood. During this period of time, Celestial Court had already walked out of the shadow of the Fate War. After Qin Dingling and the other Celestial Court immortals worked hard and planned, good news came one after another. First, the variant human forces were restrained, then Qing Chou was captured, and now, the problem of the Qi harvest fruit was about to be eliminated. But now, should we get rid of the Qi harvest fruit in Celestial Court or snatch Lightning Jiyu? Qin Dingling could not make a decision alone. She gathered the Celestial Court immortals for a discussion. Qi Si Ancestor is truly a Qi path great expert. With this method, his force is undefeatable. Wu Shuai's alliance is still experimenting with this method. Their Qi path attainment is very low. As long as Qi Si Ancestor can stall for time, there might be no need to fight. Wu Shuai's alliance might collapse on its own. Qin Dingling heard this optimistic evaluation and shook her head. Wu Shuai is a formidable person. Even a rabbit will bite when forced, not to mention this dragon man. Once he gets news of this, he might immediately start a war with Qi Si Ancestor. That's right, Qi Si Ancestor can safely get rid of the Qi harvest fruit, but Wu Shuai cannot. The longer this drags on, the more disadvantageous it is for Wu Shuai. It is very likely that Wu Shuai will attack. If that is the case, we need to act earlier and let Qi Si Ancestor take action to resolve the problem of the Qi harvest fruit for Celestial Court. You are right. Once the battle starts, Qi Si Ancestor will not be able to split himself. He will definitely face Wu Shuai's full-strength attacks. Right now, the situation is like water and fire. Once they fight, it will not end easily. A life-and-death battle might really occur. As they discussed this, Qin Dingling looked at 9 Spiritual Fairy. How is the refinement of Hatred Jiyu going? 9 Spiritual Fairy shook her head. I just had a breakthrough. Hatred Jiyu is in a strange state. It has already fused with Qing Chou. We found a way to refine Hatred Jiyu not long ago. If we want to refine Hatred Jiyu, it will take a long time. But the good news is that if we succeed, Qing Chou will be useful to us. Qin Dingling nodded. Since we have not obtained Hatred Jiyu yet, we are not in a hurry to snatch Lightning Jiyu. I intend to conceal this information and invite Qi Si Ancestor to come to Celestial Court in secret, to resolve the problem of Celestial Court. After that, we will start a war with Wu Shuai. The immortals heard this and had no objections. But how are we going to repay Qi Si Ancestor? A Jiyu immortal asked. This is not hard. Qi Si Ancestor is very interested in the Qi Path Immortal Jiyu of our Celestial Court. In the letters we exchanged earlier, he has been asking to borrow these Qi Path Immortal Jiyu, but I did not agree to it and kept pushing it away. Qin Dingling smiled. Another Jiyu immortal added, we need to be wary of another person, that is Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Qin Dingling nodded. I have considered that too. This demon is also a Qi Path great expert. If he cooperates with Wu Shuai, it will balance out the situation of both sides. He is a huge threat. Demon Immortal Qi Ju is hard to track. We do not know where he is now. He has just been reborn. He is not familiar with the current major paths. Right now, he has been selling Chi Path immortal materials in jewel yellow skies, exchanging for inheritances of all paths. Even GU master inheritances are not spared. Wu Shuai has a bargaining chip to transact with him. Chapter 2038. Inside Dragon Palace, the atmosphere was heavy. The current situation is like this. What do you all think? Wu Shuai was the only one seated. He first gathered the Alliance Immortals and described Qi-Si ancestors' actions in profound literature Grotto Heaven. Celestial Court tried to conceal this information, but almost at the same time, Wu Shuai informed all the GU Immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance. When the Immortals heard this news, they had a huge reaction. Their expressions changed. Is this information true? Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch immediately asked, but he soon reacted as his face turned pale. I am not suspecting Lord Alliance Leader, but this situation is simply too sudden. Wu Shuai snorted coldly. Do I need to lie to you? This is not good. Xiao He-jian had a solemn expression. Qi-Si ancestor is a Qi Path great expert. Since Demon Immortal Qi-Ju could use the Qi Harvest Fruit to revive, it is possible for Qi-Si ancestor to get rid of the Qi Harvest Fruit. But now that he has the method to get rid of the Qi Harvest Fruit, he is in an invincible position. Indeed, indeed. What do we do now? The Qi Harvest Fruit in our clan's Grotto Heaven has already expanded to its limit. If we do not get rid of it, it will really self-detonate. But our experiments have not succeeded yet. A lot of Grotto Heavens have been destroyed. It is impossible to negotiate with Qi-Si ancestor. We need to be wary of him taking the chance to attack. The Immortals discussed. Their tones were filled with panic. Spectral Soul, who was acting as Lady Cold Ash, was among them, cheering inwardly. He wanted a huge battle to happen. Once the situation turned chaotic, he would have a good opportunity. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord looked like the others, but he was very happy internally. He secretly defected to the Heavenly Court. Once this happened, it would be very beneficial to him. Why are you panicking like this? GU Tribe's leader suddenly shouted. The Immortals turned to look at him. Even though GU Tribe's leader joined the Two Heavens Alliance, he had always been quiet. But the Immortals here knew that this person was Wu Shuai's trusted aide. In terms of trust, he far surpassed the two Vice Alliance leaders, Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao He-jian. The leader of the GU family suddenly spoke. Xiao He-jian's heart skipped a beat as he understood something. But before he spoke, Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch spoke first. With Lord Alliance Leader here, there is no need for us to panic. At this critical moment of life and death, this subordinate is willing to follow the Alliance Leader closely and follow your lead. Xiao He-jian cursed under his breath and followed closely behind. This subordinate will listen to Alliance Master's decision. Wu Shuai nodded slightly and grunted through his nose. The current situation is so critical. If we sit still and wait for death, we will definitely be defeated. There is no other possibility. Only by fighting with all their might and taking the initiative to attack would there be hope. The enemy was able to get rid of the Qi Harvest Fruits because of Qi-Si ancestors' methods. As long as we fight and kill Qi-Si ancestor, it will be our victory. Even if we cannot kill Qi-Si ancestor, as long as we heavily injure him, the situation will be greatly alleviated. Just as Wu Shuai finished speaking, the GU family head immediately responded, Alliance Master is wise. Wu Shuai looked at Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao He-jian. These two Vice Alliance leaders spoke in unison. Alliance Leader is wise. This is a brilliant plan. What are your thoughts? If you have any better suggestions, tell us. Wu Shuai purposely asked the other GU Immortals. How could these people have any good ideas? The truth was, Wu Shuai was forced to attack because he had no other choice. He had no other choice. But other than this, were they really going to surrender to Qi-Si ancestor? It was not that the Immortals did not have such thoughts, but they did not have the guts to do so. The Forest Thunder Grotto Heaven was the best example. Who among the Immortals present did not know about his miserable end? Who did not know about it? Since everyone has agreed, let us discuss how to send troops. We need to use every second we have to catch the enemy off guard. Wu Shuai spoke decisively. GU family head continued, Lord Alliance Leader is right. Every breath of time we drag on now is a breath of time for the enemy to gain a new advantage. Immediately, the immortals started to discuss their battle plan. This discussion lasted for the time it takes for 3 incense sticks to burn before they came up with a more complete plan. Wu Shuai opened the door of Dragon Palace and ordered the immortals to make preparations. They would attack 7 days later. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord returned to Night Wolf Grotto Heaven. On one hand, he mobilized his troops and gathered troops. On the other hand, he quickly informed the Celestial Court of this important information. Qin Ding Ling received this information and gathered the immortals of the Celestial Court overnight. The situation has changed. It seems that Wu Shuai also placed a spy around Qi Si Ancestor. I said before, we cannot underestimate Wu Shuai. Since Wu Shuai's side wants to attack, we might as well play along and take him down. That will be difficult. The enemy has Dragon Palace and Di Zongsheng to protect him. Unless we awaken all the immortals in the immortal graveyard, we will not have the strength to make such arrangements. Time is too tight. We only have 7 days, and it is far away in Eastern Sea. Then we can only inform Qi Si Ancestor and let him be on guard secretly while pretending not to know anything. When Wu Shuai attacks, he will definitely suffer a huge loss. Did you forget the spy that Wu Shuai placed around Qi Si Ancestor? If Qi Si Ancestor learns about it from us, Wu Shuai might know about it immediately. Prince's impatience suddenly spoke. Why do we need to inform Qi Si Ancestor? The discussions paused for a moment. Qi Si Ancestor is our ally. If he finds out that we do not report about it, it will be disadvantageous to the alliance. Prince's impatience shook his head and smiled. As long as we do not say anything, how will Qi Si Ancestor know that we know about it in advance? Our spy in the Two Heavens Alliance has always been secretive. If we speak about it, we might be exposed. We formed an alliance with Qi Si Ancestor because we want to borrow his strength to resolve the problem of Heavenly Court's Qi harvest fruits. Secondly, we want to use him as a chess piece to gather a group of external forces to help us restrict the growth of variant human forces. Prince's impatience continued to speak. Thirdly, if possible, we can recruit Qi Si Ancestor as a member of our celestial court. Qin Ding Ling looked at Prince's impatience. Then in your opinion, what should we do? Prince's impatience breathed in deeply. In my humble opinion, we should feign ignorance and proceed according to the original plan. Right now, Qi Si Ancestor has already moved secretly. He will definitely come to our celestial court in 3 days. At that time, we will let him help us get rid of the Qi harvest fruit problem. Celestial court is huge and has a deep foundation. The Qi harvest fruit it forms is also the largest in the world. Qi Si Ancestor suggested that we set up a Qi Path Immortal formation. We will need at least 6 days to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit. We can purposely delay the formation and let Wu Shuai's sneak attack succeed. Qi Si Ancestor's forces will suffer heavy losses. Qi Si Ancestor will definitely be anxious and want to go back to help, but he needs to maintain the formation at all times and cannot leave. Without a leader, Qi Si Ancestor's subordinates will definitely not be Wu Shuai's match. But so what if they are all destroyed? Our strength will not be affected at all. Qi Si Ancestor will also be alone now. He secretly came to our celestial court and caused his subordinates to all die. His reputation will definitely fall to rock bottom. Eastern Sea's GU Immortal World's opinion of him will also plummet. Who would respect a GU Immortal who went missing in battle and secretly helped another region? At this point, Qi Si Ancestor will definitely understand that his status in Eastern Sea will not return to before. At that time, we will have nothing to worry about. We can send people to help him take revenge. During this process, we can use reason and emotion to persuade him, as well as lure him with benefits. I believe there is a high chance of recruiting Qi Si Ancestor. The immortals were silent. They looked at each other for a while before looking at Prince's impatience. But at this moment, the immortals' gazes were completely different from before. Prince's impatience's strategy made the celestial court's immortals look at him in a new light. Prince's impatience had his arms behind his back. He did not speak. He had a slight smile on his face. This plan was very sinister. The GU immortals present did not think of it, but he was the first to suggest it. It was completely related to his personal experiences. Prince's impatience came from Spirit Affinity House. He was treated as a spy and went to Northern Plains to develop. Many years later, he reached rank 8 and became the son-in-law of Northern Plains Gong tribe. He was the highest spy that Central Continent had in Northern Plains. The Celestial Court's GU Immortals had been overlords for too long, they were already used to it. But the Immortals here were all rank 8 elites. They quickly understood, Prince's Impatience's plan was indeed the most beneficial to Celestial Court. Even if Wu Shuai's force won, so what? They would only lose Grotto Heavens in the two heavens. Even if the flames of war spread to Eastern Sea, it would not shake its foundation. Even if Eastern Sea's righteous path was toppled, it was just one region. Humans were still the overlords of this world. Chapter 2039. Celestial Court was filled with light all along. Fang Yuan, who was disguised as Qi-Si ancestor, was already inside Celestial Court. He floated in the air, looking at the Qi harvest fruit in front of him. The energy harvest fruits produced in the heavenly court were huge beyond common sense. They were like towering mountains, towering to the extreme. Such a huge Qi harvest fruit would not be able to fit in an ordinary rank 8 grotto heaven, it would break through the sky. Only Celestial Court has such a deep foundation and had previously fused in a large number of Kang Xianzi space path fruits, it has enough space to hold the Qi harvest fruit. Fang Yuan sighed internally. The last time he came to Celestial Court, he had participated in the Fate War with his true appearance and caused Celestial Court to suffer a crushing defeat. This time, he was disguised as an ally of Celestial Court. He wanted to help Celestial Court resolve the problem of the Qi harvest fruit. The situation was constantly changing, it was hard to predict. How is it? Qin Dingling was standing beside Fang Yuan, asking. Fang Yuan nodded. This is the first time I have seen a Qi harvest fruit of such a scale. I can see that your foundation is unfathomable. You are truly the #1 sect in the world. After pausing for a while, Fang Yuan continued, after some investigation, even though my previous method worked, this Qi harvest fruit is too huge. It is best to set up an immortal formation. The larger the Qi path immortal formation, the more time we can save. Qin Dingling was slightly surprised, to think that Ancestor could even design an immortal formation. Fang Yuan shook his head, not so. The Qi path immortal formation can only amplify my Qi path killer moves. The true method to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit is still my Qi path killer moves. Qin Dingling nodded, this was reasonable. She smiled as she took out a Qi path rank 8 immortal GU. Celestial Court does not lack Qi path immortal GU. To resolve the problem of the Qi harvest fruit, Celestial Court is willing to use all their Qi path resources to achieve this. Ancestor, please take a look at this immortal GU. Fang Yuan's gaze was immediately attracted by this immortal GU. Is this human Qi immortal GU? Fang Yuan's pupils dilated, his expression changed slightly. Human Qi immortal GU was shaped like a bee, it only had the size of a thumb, it flapped its wings and floated above Qin Dingling's palm, emitting a dense aura. Qin Dingling handed human Qi immortal GU to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan opened his palm and caught it, he stared at it and praised, good GU, good GU. This GU is closely related to human path, it has huge potential. Qin Dingling smiled, taking out a second immortal GU and handing it to Fang Yuan. This was Earth Qi immortal GU, it was like a butterfly, it was brown in color and emitted dense Qi. Fang Yuan held human Qi immortal GU in his left hand and Earth Qi immortal GU in his right. He looked around with great interest. Amazing, amazing. This is Heaven Qi immortal GU. Qin Dingling said as she handed a third rank 8 immortal GU to Fang Yuan. Heaven Qi immortal GU was like a dragonfly, it was dark green in color and had 8 thin light blue wings. When it flapped, its body would emit a translucent aura. Fang Yuan had a solemn expression. This Heaven Qi immortal GU is closely related to the heavenly path. To speak the truth, I created the method to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit because I comprehended a trace of the profundity of the heavenly path. If I had this GU, I would have been able to come out of closed cultivation earlier. Among the GU cultivation paths, heavenly path and human path are the most unique. Ancestor, you have almost reached the end of the path of Qi path. Thus you are able to comprehend the true meaning of other paths by analogy. Qin Ding Ling praised before changing the topic. These 3 qi immortal GU are the cause of triple qi retraction. They are the true treasures of the celestial court. Only members of the celestial court can possess them. Qin Ding Ling saw Fang Yuan's expression and was very happy. She hinted to Qi Si ancestor that if he wanted these GU worms, he would have to join the celestial court. Fang Yuan heard this and showed a trace of hesitation on his face, but he laughed internally. His expression just now was just an act. If he truly cultivated Qi path, the temptation of these 3 Qi immortal GU would be unparalleled. Fang Yuan had tried many times before. These 3 Qi immortal GU were the cause of triple Qi retraction. They were irreplaceable. If he forcefully used other Qi path immortal GU to replace them, even if he managed to modify triple Qi retraction, it would lose its value in battle. Thus, even though Fang Yuan had obtained the complete primordial origin Qi path true inheritance, he did not gain much from it. Furthermore, Qi Si ancestor was only one of Fang Yuan's identities. Moreover, Fang Yuan did not lack rank 8 immortal GU. Attitude GU, Mutation GU, Wisdom Sword GU, Years Flow Like Water, Soul Beast Token, Regret GU, Spring, Summer, Big Qi, Realm, Addition, Steel Life, Water Refinement, Advance Refinement, Dream Token. There were simply too many of them. In Fang Yuan's eyes, only rank 9 immortal GU could make him excited. Rank 9 immortal GU were too rare. He originally had 1, Wisdom GU. Unfortunately, this immortal GU was tampered with by Giant Sun Immortal. Fang Yuan had no choice but to sacrifice it in the Fate War. Qin Ding Ling borrowed 3 Qi immortal GU to let Qi Si ancestor familiarize himself with it. She arranged for several GU immortals to modify the Qi path immortal formation with Qi Si ancestor. With the help of the immortals, the Qi path immortal formation was completed in a few days. Fang Yuan and the Celestial Court Immortals started to set up the formation. The main person in charge of this Qi path formation was naturally Fang Yuan. But the other formation cores were guarded by Celestial Court GU Immortals. On one hand, Celestial Court was helping Fang Yuan, on the other hand, they were there to supervise him. Qi Si ancestor was an outsider after all. Even though he had an alliance agreement, he was still a member of Celestial Court. How could Celestial Court not take precautions? In fact, it was not just the supporting GU Immortals who took precautions. The core immortal GU of this Qi path formation, Heaven Qi, Earth Qi, and Human Qi, were also temporarily lent to Fang Yuan by Qin Ding Ling. Once there were any changes, Celestial Court could immediately retrieve them and make Fang Yuan lose control of the entire Qi path formation. And this Qi path formation's modification process involved several Celestial Court GU Immortals. Even if these GU Immortals had low Qi path attainment, they had good insight. It was very difficult to hide it from them. In fact, Fang Yuan did not hide anything in this Qi path formation. There was absolutely no problem with the formation. Earth Qi GU, go! Fang Yuan threw out Earth Qi Immortal GU and instilled Immortal Essence. Earth Qi Immortal GU quickly flew out and drilled into the ground at the bottom of the Qi harvest fruit. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud sound as the ground below the Qi harvest fruit started to shake intensely. Countless amounts of Earth Qi rose up like thick smoke. Fang Yuan started to collect these Earth Qi. The Celestial Court GU Immortals beside him also took action. Some assisted in collecting the Earth Qi, while others started to set up small formations around the entrance of the cave where the Earth Qi was rising up. While Fang Yuan was setting up the formation, at the other end of the Celestial Court, there was a huge underground square. Qing Chou's mountain-like body was motionless in the depths of the underground square, like a stone statue. Boom! Suddenly, a loud sound could be heard from afar. The underground square shook slightly, cracks appeared on the floor tiles. But Red Heart Traveler, who was guarding this place, was not flustered. He immediately took action and stabilized the situation. The cracks on the floor tiles were disappearing at an observable speed. What's the commotion? Qing Chou suddenly spoke, but strangely, its voice was 9 spiritual fairies. 9 spiritual fairy had actually entered Qing Chou's body and forcefully refined Hatred GU. Looking at this commotion, Chi-Si ancestor should be setting up the formation. He used Earth Chi Immortal GU as the first foundation of the formation, so the Earth vein was affected. And this place is one of the main Earth veins, so it can affect us. Red Heart Traveler replied, "You were at a crucial moment earlier, so I did not inform you about this. Don't worry, this level of influence cannot affect us." Millimeter, 9 Spiritual Fairy immediately put her mind at ease. Then let's hurry up and try to refine Hatred GU while we get rid of the Chi Harvest Fruit, to make Celestial Court even happier. Celestial Court's GU Immortals had already recovered from the shadow of defeat in the Fate War. They worked even harder than before and were filled with fighting spirit. Several days later, the Chi Path formation was successfully set up. Fang Yuan was in charge of the formation and activated his methods to get rid of the Chi Harvest Fruit. The Chi Harvest Fruit was continuously whittled down by Fang Yuan's killer moves. But this Chi Harvest Fruit of Celestial Court was too huge, it would take some time to completely get rid of it. After several days, the Chi Harvest Fruit was whittled down by a little more than 10%. Qin Ding Ling hurriedly came to Fang Yuan with a solemn expression. "Ancestor, there is a change in Eastern Sea, the situation is not good." Fang Yuan was shocked. What happened? Marshal Wu's alliance suddenly launched a large-scale attack. They split into 3 groups and attacked the Grotto Heaven forces that submitted to us. We were caught off guard and suffered heavy losses. Qin Ding Ling said. "The news of my secret arrival should have been sealed. How could this be? Marshal Wu found out so quickly?" Fang Yuan's expression changed, his tone was filled with anxiety. "Ancestor, you want to return to Eastern Sea?" Qin Ding Ling asked purposely. "That is what I was thinking." Fang Yuan frowned, "But this method of mine has to be completely successful. If I give up halfway, there might be undesirable changes." Qin Ding Ling bowed deeply at Fang Yuan. "Ancestor, please think of the big picture." Marshal Wu reacted so quickly, it was out of everyone's expectations. But if Ancestor returns now, it will be fulfilling Marshal Wu's wish. Only when we completely get rid of the Chi Harvest Fruit can we have a safe rear. At that time, Ancestor, you can lead our Celestial Court's immortals back to Eastern Sea. You can say that you came to our Celestial Court to ask for reinforcements. You did not want Marshal Wu to launch a sneak attack that will shut their mouths. After that, we can combine our strength and kill Marshal Wu, completely getting rid of the Two Heavens Alliance. That is the way to victory. Fang Yuan did not speak, he only looked at Qin Ding Ling deeply. After a long while, he spoke with a heavy tone. Marshal Wu's side has definitely prepared for a long time for this large-scale attack. Does the Celestial Court know anything about their plans? Absolutely not. Qin Ding Ling shook her head, her attitude firm. Fang Yuan snorted coldly, he struggled for a while before sighing helplessly. "Forget it, I will stay here to control the formation until the Chi Harvest Fruit is completely eradicated. But during this period of time, I will need your Celestial Court to send reinforcements to support Eastern Sea." Qin Ding Ling also sighed. "We will do our best in this matter." Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, saying, "Once the Chi Harvest Fruit is completely eradicated, I will immediately return to reinforce it. But if I control the formation without rest, my battle strength will definitely fall. I hope the Celestial Court can give me 3 Chi Immortal GU to help me kill the enemy." Qin Ding Ling's expression changed slightly. Although Fang Yuan was asking for compensation in a tactful tone, his appetite was too huge, it greatly exceeded Qin Ding Ling's bottom line. She shook her head and refused. 3 Chi Immortal GU are the treasures of the Celestial Court, only members of the Celestial Court can. Before she finished, Fang Yuan interrupted. "The Eastern Sea Immortals are also my subordinates." Qin Ding Ling still shook her head. "I will remember Ancestor's sacrifice, but even though I am the leader of the Celestial Court, I cannot give you 3 rank 8 Immortal GU. At most, I can only offer one of them as compensation. How can one compare to all the living beings in the Grotto Heaven?" Fang Yuan was slightly furious. Boom! Just as the two were haggling, there was a loud sound in the sky. A rank 8 Immortal GU house directly charged in with a ferocious momentum. The immortals of the Celestial Court were all shocked. Because the Immortal GU house that invaded the Celestial Court was Dragon Palace. How can this be? Qin Dingling could no longer discuss with Fang Yuan. She flew out of the formation and faced the enemy. The door of Dragon Palace opened. Wu Shuai sat on his throne as he looked out from deep within Dragon Palace. Qin Dingling, we meet again. Wu Shuai, why are you here? Qin Dingling shouted. Several GU immortals had gathered behind her. Wu Shuai sneered and kicked off a head beside his feet. This head rolled down the stairs below the throne, all the way to the center of the hall. His eyes were wide open. It was Night Heavenly Wolf Lord. That old scoundrel Qi Si can get rid of the Qi harvest fruit. Your celestial court wants to hide the news and secretly resolve the internal problem? Hehe, wishful thinking. I came here to destroy your celestial court and kill that old scoundrel Qi Si. Let's see who can stop me in this world. Wu Shuai said this as he stood up and waved his hand, shouting, kill. Chapter 2040. Central Continent, deep within a certain earth trench. Fairy Myrtle was controlling the Wisdom Path formation. Purple light shrouded the formation without leaking out. In the formation core, other than by Ning Bing, He Lulan, and Ying Wuxie, there were also Fairy Miao Yin, Lady White Rabbit, and several other GU immortals. After the Fate War, these GU immortals were left behind by Fang Yuan. Fairy Myrtle and the rest cooperated with Bing Sai Chuan, capturing these people one by one. As the purple light faded, the formation stopped. Fairy Miao Yin's expression was uncertain while Lady White Rabbit was furious. They were both immobilized. You two still don't want to surrender? Ying Wuxie sneered. Chimph, you traitor. Lady White Rabbit shouted angrily. Bai Ning Bing also rushed over, her gaze was emotionless and cold. I urge you to reconsider, after all, your greatest value has been lost. Fairy Miao Yin heard this and her expression became even more hesitant. Fairy Myrtle stopped the formation and stood up. Her aura was weak, she had expended a lot of energy in this deduction. But she showed clear joy on her face. It seems we succeeded. Bing Sai Chuan was already waiting outside the formation, he smiled lightly. He Lulan walked past Fairy Myrtle, stopping behind Bing Sai Chuan. Fairy Myrtle nodded with a smile. There are enough clues, we finally succeeded. I have already deduced Fang Yuan's current location. Take a guess, where is this crafty demon hiding? Bing Sai Chuan raised his eyebrows. Now that you asked, it is a clear hint. What, is this scoundrel Fang Yuan hiding in Celestial Court all along? Fairy Myrtle nodded. According to my deduction, he is indeed in Celestial Court. The immortals heard this and showed strange expressions. Ying Wuxie gritted his teeth. He is truly crafty, he escaped from Celestial Court earlier, it was just a disguise, he has probably been hiding in Celestial Court all along. Old man Zheng Yuan sighed. No wonder we could not find his true body. Bai Ning Bing laughed loudly, praising, amazing. This is Fang Yuan's style indeed. Bing Sai Chuan frowned. But how can he hide until now without being discovered by the Celestial Court GU immortals? Fairy Myrtle's eyes flickered with bright light. I can only deduce that Fang Yuan is in Celestial Court now, but I cannot be sure that he has been hiding in Celestial Court. But in terms of ability, this demon, Fang Yuan, is the most difficult to estimate. But in terms of ability, Fang Yuan is GU Immortal Sect. Bing Sai Chuan sighed. Fang Yuan is hiding in Heavenly Court now, what do we do? Were they going to attack the Celestial Court again? If we directly report this information to the Celestial Court, and the Celestial Court kills Fang Yuan, wouldn't they obtain all of his inheritance? Bing Sai Chuan represented Giant Sun Immortal, he represented the benefits of Northern Plains Longevity Heaven. Of course, he did not want to see the Celestial Court grow stronger again. Moreover, the information regarding Fang Yuan's location was something that they had painstakingly deduced. If they were to inform the Celestial Court just like that, it would be too easy for them. Elder Zheng Yuan reminded, no matter what, we still have to tell the Master about this precious information first. Fairy Myrtle replied, I've already reported it to Master as soon as I retracted the formation. Celestial Court. A fierce battle had broken out. Boom. Lady Cold Ash's figure flickered as she dodged the explosion of a killer move. She was actually Spectral Soul in disguise. Spectral Soul had just received Fairy Myrtle's information, but he was not in a good mood. Fang Yuan is in the Celestial Court now? Of course, I already knew this. A memory flashed in Spectral Soul's mind. It was the scene that happened several days ago. The GU Immortals were gathered in Dragon Palace again. Wu Shuai used the excuse of discussing the details of attacking Qi Ancestor's side. But halfway through the discussion, Wu Shuai suddenly attacked. Dragon Palace rumbled. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord was caught off guard and was hit by the killer move Dreamy Light Smoke. He was easily taken down without any resistance. Everyone, don't panic. This person is a spy of our alliance. He is the mastermind of the Celestial Court. Wu Shuai consoled the Immortals as he took out evidence. In front of such concrete evidence, the Immortals were shocked and furious. They condemned Night Wolf Grotto Heaven and wanted them to pay the price. Wu Shuai shook his head. We will definitely punish Night Heavenly Wolf Lord, but the urgent matter now is not this. The big picture is the most important thing. GU Tribe's leader frowned deeply. Lord Alliance leader, because of this traitor, Night Heavenly Wolf Lord, our sneak attack plan has been exposed. If we carry it out again, we might not be able to catch them off guard. Wu Shuai smiled coldly. There is still an important piece of information that I have not told everyone yet. Qi Ancestor is no longer in Eastern Sea. He has entered Central Continent many days ago and is heading to the Celestial Court. This is good news. Many GU Immortals heard this and were overjoyed. But Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch had a grim expression. What's so good about it? The reason why we attacked Qi Ancestor's side was to target him personally, to stop him from resolving the Qi harvest fruits in the other Grotto Heavens. Now that Qi Ancestor is not here, what is the point of continuing our attack? The GU Immortals who were cheering earlier were stunned. After reacting, the atmosphere in Dragon Palace became even heavier. Everyone, don't panic. Wu Shuai spoke. All the GU Immortals' gazes landed on him. He continued, it is actually very simple to resolve our current predicament. Since Qi Ancestor is heading to Central Continent's Celestial Court, we will give up on the Grotto Heavens and directly attack the Celestial Court to kill Qi Ancestor. What? This, the GU Immortals in the hall hesitated. It is not easy to attack the Celestial Court. The Celestial Court is the #1 force of humanity. Even if they lost the Fate War, we cannot take them lightly. Many GU Immortals wanted to retreat. Wu Shuai snorted coldly, you fools. He scolded them on the spot. His imposing aura caused the hall to turn silent. The GU Immortals kept quiet out of fear. Why don't you think about why the Celestial Court would suddenly invite Qi Ancestor over? Wu Shuai asked with a stern expression. Xiao He Jian's eyes shined as he said, don't tell me, the Celestial Court is also facing the Qi harvest fruit problem? Wu Shuai chuckled. All of your Grotto Heavens are facing the Qi harvest fruit problem. The Celestial Court is also a Grotto Heaven. It is located in immemorial White Heaven. Why is the Celestial Court not facing the Qi harvest fruit problem? Hearing this, the Immortals realized at once. This was just a facade. In their hearts, the Celestial Court had always been supreme. Even though they lost the Fate War, the Celestial Court displayed terrifying strength and foundation. Even though the Celestial Court lost, it lost to enemies like Fang Yuan and Red Lotus Demon Venerable. To the variant human GU Immortals, this was a reasonable loss. It did not affect their impression of the strength of the Celestial Court. Precisely because of this impression, the variant human GU Immortals subconsciously thought, even if the Celestial Court was facing the Qi harvest fruit problem, it could resolve it by itself. After all, the creator of the Celestial Court was primordial origin Immortal Venerable who became a Venerable through Qi path. Alliance leader is wise. Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch slapped his forehead. The Celestial Court invited Qi Ancestor to resolve the Qi harvest fruit problem. Even though the Celestial Court has a Qi path inheritance, it does not have any Qi path GU Immortals. Also, why did the Celestial Court ally with Qi Ancestor? Other than obstructing our alliance, it is likely to be for the sake of their own safety. Precisely. Wu Shuai looked at Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch with an appreciative gaze. You guys are not too stupid after all. The Celestial Court is at its weakest now. Qi ancestor is going to resolve the Qi harvest fruit problem of the celestial court. As long as we attack the celestial court while he is busy, we will be able to catch them off guard and obtain shocking result. If we attack the celestial court now, before Qi ancestor makes a move on the Qi harvest fruit, we will attack the Qi harvest fruit and force the celestial court GU immortals to defend themselves. That way, we will have the initiative and be able to advance or retreat freely. If we attack the celestial court and Qi ancestor uses his killer move to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit, that would be even better. If we interfere with him with our full strength, Qi ancestor's killer move might fail and he would suffer a backlash. If we fight with all our strength, we might be able to kill him on the spot. Wu Shuai said calmly. But what if we attack the celestial court and Qi ancestor has already gotten rid of the Qi harvest fruit? A GU immortal asked carefully. Wu Shuai snorted coldly. The celestial court has a deep foundation. The Qi harvest fruit is definitely extraordinary. If Qi ancestor gets rid of the Qi harvest fruit, his battle condition will be affected. Of course, this is the worst case scenario, but we are already at a dead end. We can only fight with all our strength to have hope in the future. Tell me, other than this method, what other methods do we have? Facing Wu Shuai's question, the immortals were silent. With the current situation, the immortals were forced to follow Wu Shuai to attack the celestial court. But the GU immortals present were still hesitant, including the two Vice Alliance leaders, Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao He Jian. Maybe if we continue experimenting, we can find the correct method to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit. A GU immortal said softly. Wu Shuai's expression turned grim. He scolded internally. These variant human GU immortals have been cowards for too long. They do not have any fighting spirit at all. But Wu Shuai had already expected this. He laughed loudly. Lord Alliance leader, why are you laughing? GU tribe's leader asked. Wu Shuai stopped laughing. To speak the truth, I am also worried about bringing you idiots to attack the celestial court. But this time, I invited a strong reinforcement. Because of him, I learned of Night Heavenly Wolf Lord's betrayal. Ah! Who is it? The immortals were curious. Lady Cold Ash's gaze flickered. She already had a guess. Right at this moment, from the shadows behind Wu Shuai, a GU immortal walked out. This GU immortal wore a white robe. He had long black hair that reached his waist. His face was white as jade. His eyes were shining with cold light. Ah! Fang Yuan, it's him, it really is him. The immortals' pupils shrunk, their expressions changed, they were all shaken. Under everyone's gazes, Fang Yuan spoke slowly, his voice was cold as ice. The celestial court bullied me. Now that I have recovered my strength, I am going to attack the celestial court. Duke Long is not here, who can stop me? His voice resounded in the hall, nobody dared to make a sound. But Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and the rest felt their hearts pounding. With a strong reinforcement like Fang Yuan leading the way, they immediately regained their morale and fighting spirit. Fang Yuan was someone who had defeated the celestial court. His battle strength was clear to everyone in the world. Chapter 2041. Roar. The evil dragon's roar shook heaven and earth, causing winds and clouds to gather. Its mountain-like body charged at the front, followed by the immortals of the Two Heavens Alliance, and finally, Dragon Palace. Primordial Qi Wall. This was a method left behind by primordial origin immortal Venerable. It appeared again when Celestial Court was attacked, but it could not stop Di Zongsheng's charge. The 5 regions merged. This evil dragon has become even stronger. Furthermore, ever since the Fate War, the primordial Qi Wall was destroyed by Fang Yuan. Even though it recovered, it is much weaker than before. Qin Ding Ling frowned, quickly determining the situation. The Qi Wall could only delay for a while. It could not stop the evil dragon. Lord Qin, do you need me to fight? At this time, 9 spiritual fairy transmitted. The former transformation path great experts of Celestial Court, Zhong Fei Xiong and Flesh Whip Immortal, had died long ago. Only 9 spiritual fairy was left among the transformation path experts. No, Qing Chou's taming is only 1 step away. Continue to refine hatred GU. Qin Ding Ling immediately transmitted, shouting, Shabi 95, Wan Dan, Are you still not going to fight? A tiger's roar and a crane's cry resounded at the same time. Two legendary immemorial desolate beasts blocked in front of Di Zongsheng. The three legendary primordial wild beasts clashed, causing the earth to shake and the sky to tremble. In just a few rounds, Shabi 95 and Ruan Dan were forced to retreat. They were in a miserable state. They were not Di Zongsheng's match in close combat. Thus, they started to activate their killer moves. Instantly, grey chi shot out like blades, pill lights burst out. Di Zongsheng roared, purple gold light appeared on his body, blocking all the killer moves. Next, the purple gold light dissipated. Di Zongsheng's dragon whiskers grew rapidly, shooting out like countless snakes coming out of their caves. They were extremely powerful. Shabi 95 and Ruan Dan could not block the attacks, they could only retreat temporarily. This evil dragon actually has an immortal GU, it can use killer moves now. Qin Dingling's heart sank, she took a deep look at Dragon Palace. Di Zongsheng was a legendary immemorial beast to begin with, he had outstanding intelligence and could use GU worms to activate killer moves. But during the Fate War, it was enslaved by Dragon Palace in a hurry, it did not have time to equip itself with GU worms. Therefore, in the Fate War, it only relied on its own physical strength to fight. Therefore, he was unable to resist Feng Joga's Song of Destiny and was instantly controlled. When he encountered other killer moves, he could only use his physical body to resist. After the Fate War, Wu Shuai had already started to consider equipping Di Zongsheng with GU worms. But Wu Shuai was tight on money back then, he did not have any extra immortal GU. Although the main body had many immortal GU, firstly, Fang Yuan's main body was moving around Western Desert, he did not meet up with Wu Shuai immediately. Secondly, the extra immortal GU might not be suitable for Di Zongsheng. However, Wu Shuai's luck was good. He grasped the opportunity and successfully became the leader of the Two Heavens Alliance. With resources on hand, Wu Shuai started to equip Di Zongsheng. Up until now, Wu Shuai and Fang Yuan's main body had split the Two Heavens forces. He used the excuse of trying to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit to destroy several grotto heavens, and made forceful transactions with the Alliance's GU immortals. Finally, Di Zongsheng had a certain number of GU worms and several basic killer moves. Di Zongsheng suppressed Ruan Dan and Shabi 95, forcing them to retreat to one side as he charged forward ferociously. Qin Dingling screamed as she flew up and entered the immortal GU house. Several immortal GU houses flew towards Di Zongsheng, forming layers of defense. Di Zongsheng's charge stopped for a moment, but Shabi 95 and Ruan Dan also joined in. I finally blocked it for now. Qin Dingling had just calmed down when she moved Dragon Palace in an arc towards the Qi harvest fruit. Celestial Court's Qi harvest fruit was too huge, it was too eye-catching. Wu Shuai was even more ruthless, he attacked the enemy's weakness. Qin Dingling's expression changed as she hurriedly commanded the immortal GU houses to split a portion of their forces to block Dragon Palace. The situation is very dangerous. Once the Qi harvest fruit is destroyed, the whole of Celestial Court will be destroyed. Quickly awaken the immortals in the immortal graveyard. Zhu Xiongxin urged. How about we ask 9 spiritual fairy and red heart traveler to reinforce us? Bai Kang Shui suggested. Qin Dingling gritted her teeth, deciding, awaken the immortals in the immortal graveyard. Celestial Court's immortal graveyard was already mostly destroyed, there were only a few GU immortals sleeping inside. But after this force awakened, they were a new force, they shared a lot of the pressure. The defensive line was still in danger, but it was barely stabilized. Go and attack the Qi harvest fruit. Wu Shuai ordered the Alliance GU immortals. These GU immortals had already split up, they were like loose sand, drilling through the Qi walls and approaching the Qi harvest fruit. Seeing this, Qin Dingling was extremely anxious, she gritted her teeth and said furiously, I will destroy these variant humans and exterminate them all. Even though the Two Heavens Alliance's GU immortals were not strong, they had the advantage in numbers, they were the weakness of Celestial Court side. Don't worry, these variant human GU immortals look like they have a lot of numbers, but they are actually cowards. As long as we send one person to surround the Qi harvest fruit and kill a few of them, these GU immortals will definitely hesitate. their morale will be greatly weakened. Prince's impatience suggested. Who can take on this task? Qin Dingling quickly asked. Che Wei responded with his actions. He flew out of the immortal Jiyu house like a ray of light, charging towards the Qi harvest fruit on the ground. Die. He pounced like an eagle, using a killer move that was extremely powerful and unstoppable. What killer move is this? Of the two variant human Jiyu immortals, one was heavily injured, while the other was killed on the spot. Che Wei's display of battle strength at the crucial moment was extremely shocking. Both sides were shocked. After all, the two variant human Jiyu immortals he defeated had rank 8 cultivation level. His killer move seems to be of a completely new path. Too terrifying. Before I figure out his background, if I rush forward, I'll definitely be cut in half by him. I should wait for Fang Yuan to attack. The two Heavens Alliance's Jiyu immortals hesitated, their charge slowed down. These trash. In the depths of Dragon Palace, Wu Shuai frowned, showing deep anger on his face. At the crucial moment, these variant human Jiyu immortals were useless, they could not even serve as cannon fodder. But Wu Shuai was prepared, he waved his hand. It's your turn. 4 figures flew out of Dragon Palace. They were the 4 dragon generals, Zhong Yin, Granny Rong, Yang Zihe, as well as Old Man Beifeng who replaced Shemiao. These 4 rank 8 Jiyu immortals were enslaved by Dragon Palace. They were loyal and did not fear death. They split into 4 groups and charged forward. Even though Che Wei was strong, he could only block one person. Protect me. Qi Si ancestor transmitted to Qin Dingling. This is the crucial moment. If we stop now, the consequences will be unimaginable. Qin Dingling gritted her teeth, seeing that the 3 dragon generals were very close to the Qi harvest fruit. She could only take the risk of mobilizing an immortal Jiyu house to block them. At the same time, 2 Jiyu immortals flew out of the immortal Jiyu house, blocking the dragon generals with all their strength. Roar. Just as Celestial Court's side blocked the 4 dragon generals, Dragon Palace took the chance to block Wan Dan. Di Zongsheng used this chance to knock down Shabi 95, charging all the way until he got close to the Qi harvest fruit. Di Zongsheng abruptly opened its mouth and spat out a green gas current. The green Qi destroyed the immortal formation and hit the Qi harvest fruit. The Qi harvest fruit shook intensely. Qi Si ancestor's expression changed as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His killer move was stopped. He seemed to have suffered a heavy backlash. Oh no. The Celestial Court's immortals had a change of expression. We succeeded. Wu Shuai's subordinates cheered, their morale rose. The Qi harvest fruit was damaged, Celestial Court was affected. The ground in Celestial Court was torn apart, earth trenches appeared, earth Qi rumbled, heaven and earth shook, the sky was in chaos, countless winds and clouds were raging. Crack, crack. The aperture walls of Celestial Court started to crack, large pieces of the aperture walls fell off, forming a huge hole that connected the inside and outside. Even the Fate formation could not deal such a heavy blow to Celestial Court. The appearance of the Qi harvest fruit gave Celestial Court a fatal weakness. Die. Che Wei was furious. His left hand was like a blade while his right hand was like a spear. He attacked with both hands. 2 golden-silver lights pierced through Yang Zihe. Yang Zihe died. Wu Shuai laughed loudly, shouting, "Today is the day of your Celestial Court's destruction." Qin Dingling's eyelids twitched. Even though Wu Shuai's side suffered many losses, he was right. The Qi harvest fruit's weakness was too huge. Wu Shuai had the complete initiative. Celestial Court is in danger. What should we do? Even someone like Qin Dingling was at a loss. Amidst the loss, there was a trace of fear. Is Celestial Court going to be destroyed by me, Qin Dingling? Right at this time, Qi Si ancestor transmitted again. Qin Dingling, the situation is dire, we can only take a risk. Qin Dingling subconsciously asked, how do we take a risk? Earlier, my Qi path immortal Jiyu was destroyed. I can no longer use the method to get rid of the Qi harvest fruit. But I created a killer move. Even though it is not complete, it can temporarily shrink the Qi harvest fruit. Qi Si ancestor said. Qin Dingling's eyes shined. She saw hope in this desperate situation. She quickly said, Ancestor, please use it. As long as we survive this, Celestial Court will not mistreat you. Celestial Court's current problem was the chi harvest fruit. Celestial Court's chi harvest fruit was too big, it was like a mountain, it was the best target for killer moves. But if it shrunk, the difficulty of defending it would be much lower. We need to be fast, this killer move is not complete, I can only hold on for a while. Chi-Si Ancestor said as he flew towards the chi harvest fruit. When he was about to crash, he turned into a human-shaped chi current and fused into the chi harvest fruit. The chi harvest fruit shook intensely, it started to shrink rapidly. In a few breaths of time, it shrunk from the size of a mountain to the size of a horse carriage. This change made Celestial Court's GU immortals surprised and joyful. An immortal GU house flew down and floated above the chi harvest fruit, shooting out a grand pillar of light that enveloped the chi harvest fruit. Wu Shuai's side's killer moves rained down like a storm, but they could not shake the pillar of light at all. Di Zongxing and Dragon Palace charged over again. Block them. Qin Dingling shouted. But they were too passive, they were forced to retreat. The chi harvest fruit shrunk again, it turned from a horse carriage to an ordinary gourd. Seeing that they were about to fall into the abyss of defeat again, Qin Dingling quickly asked, Ancestor, can you move the chi harvest fruit? Chi-Si Ancestor replied weakly, this is my limit. I researched Demon Immortal Chi Ju's revival method, I can only shrink it, I cannot move it at all. This method is just a preliminary creation, it is not complete. Quickly think of a way. Qin Dingling was out of ideas, she had already sent reinforcements to the 10 great ancient sects at the start of the battle. Originally, Celestial Court had Central Heaven Gate, they could send reinforcements quickly, but it was destroyed by Fairy Myrtle during the Fate War. But at the next moment, the primordial chi wall collapsed, countless chi currents landed on Di Zongxing's body. Di Zongxing's battle strength fell sharply, his threat was greatly reduced. This was Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's follow-up method, it landed on Fang Yuan during the Fate War. Fang Yuan was trapped and could not break free, but Limitless Demon Venerable's figure helped him resist the power of these chi currents. But now, the chess game was over, the two Venerables' silhouettes had vanished completely, they could no longer help Di Zongxing. In the blink of an eye, Di Zongxing was suppressed by Shabi 95. Celestial Court's dangerous situation was alleviated. Wu Shuai's side lost their most important battle force, Dragon Palace had no choice but to step up and use Dreamy Light Smoke killer move, Heavenly Court still did not have a way to resist it head-on, Dragon Palace showed off its demonic might. We can't go on like this. In the end, my Celestial Court still lacks peak battle strength. Qin Dingling gritted her teeth. If Duke Long was here, how could the other side be so arrogant? Chi-Si Ancestor also has peak battle strength, but his killer move was stopped and he suffered a backlash. Furthermore, he is not a member of Celestial Court, why would he risk his life for Celestial Court? Just as Qin Dingling was thinking about this, Chi-Si Ancestor transmitted again. Qin Dingling, to resolve today's crisis, the most important thing is to get rid of the chi harvest fruit. As long as we get rid of the chi harvest fruit, we can switch from defense to offense, our greatest worry will be gone. We have not lost hope yet, my killer move only lacks one final piece to complete it. There is a high chance of success. Qin Dingling's heart shook. What do you need me to do? Chapter 2042. Hearing that Chi-Si Ancestor was seeking Heaven Path true meaning, Qin Dingling smiled bitterly. Even though Celestial Court has deep foundation, it does not have Heaven Path true meaning. Oh, why is that? Chi-Si Ancestor asked. It is because no one can cultivate Heaven Path. If we could, why would Celestial Court create Heaven Overseeing Tower to make use of Fate GU? Qin Dingling's tone was filled with deep regret. No GU immortals could cultivate Heaven Path, this was the root cause of Heaven Path true meaning. It was not easy for GU immortals to leave behind their true meaning. To leave behind true meaning, Wisdom Path and Rule Path had the greatest advantage. Other paths could only leave behind true meaning if they could comprehend other paths by analogy. For example, Longhair's Refinement Path true meaning or Reckless Savage's Transformation Path true meaning. Hearing Qin Dingling's answer, Fang Yuan was not dejected. He was mentally prepared. His earlier request was more to probe Celestial Court's foundation. Maybe it really had. Celestial Court did not have heaven path true meaning, it was not out of his expectations. Long hair ancestor, Fang Yuan, sighed heavily, transmitting to Qin Ding Ling, "This means there is no hope. I can only let go for now and fight alongside Celestial Court to kill these variant humans." Qin Ding Ling immediately became anxious. The Qi harvest fruit became Celestial Court's weakness. It was a fatal weakness. The reason why the battle was in a deadlock now was because Qi ancestor was shrinking the Qi harvest fruit. Once Fang Yuan let go, the Qi harvest fruit would shrink to its original size. Celestial Court would have a hard time defending. They would be in a passive situation. Qin Ding Ling was facing huge pressure now. This pressure was not only from the external enemies, but also from her inner heart. After the Fate War, the Immortal Graveyard was heavily damaged, Celestial Court's foundation fell. Qin Ding Ling had no choice but to take charge of all the matters of Celestial Court in this precarious situation. She was conscientious and worked hard to build the Celestial Court. It could be said that she had done her best to bring the Celestial Court back to its former glory. Just like the other members of the Celestial Court, Qin Ding Ling had a strong sense of belonging to the Celestial Court. But now, a strong enemy had come, and it was extremely sudden. What was worse was that they had the fatal weakness of the Qi harvest fruit, causing Qin Ding Ling to feel a great sense of danger. Is the Celestial Court going to be destroyed in this battle? Am I the sinner who caused the destruction of the Celestial Court due to a lapse in defense? Rumble. The fierce battle continued and the Dragon Palace continued to move about. Qin Ding Ling stayed in the command center. She paid attention to the battlefield and made emergency arrangements while also communicating with Qi ancestor. The internal and external troubles and the heavy pressure forced her to choose to take a gamble. Immortal friend Qi, don't let go. Although the Celestial Court doesn't have any Heaven Dao true intent, it has abundant Heaven Dao research results. I'll give it to you right now. Qin Ding Ling was very straightforward. She directly sent an information path Immortal GU to Qi ancestor. My plan succeeded. Fang Yuan received this information path Immortal GU and sighed internally. He quickly sent his consciousness inside to inspect it. Amazing. 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 Fang Yuan only saw a small part of it, but his eyes shined with bright light. He praised internally. The Celestial Court had risen to become the #1 force in the world for 3 million years. In these 3 million years, from complying with Providence at the start, to keeping it in check in the dark, to altering Providence, they had all interacted with the Heaven Dao. The Heaven Dao research results were extremely abundant. It was the best in the world. It was truly worthy of its name. Fate GU was a Heaven Path Immortal GU. It could not be used by humans. The Celestial Court forcibly constructed Heaven Overseeing Tower and used a portion of Fate Gu's power. In the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, why did Spectral Soul secretly infiltrate the Celestial Court? A large part of the reason was because he wanted to obtain this Heaven Dao research result. As for why Limitless Demon Venerable made a bet with star constellations well back then, wasn't it because he wanted to use the Celestial Court's Heaven Dao research results to raise his crazed demon cave? And now, this research result was in Fang Yuan's hands. Fang Yuan continued to read and his heart shook. 2 killer moves appeared in front of him. One was called Heavenman Sensation, the other was called Workers of Heaven's Work. They were created by star constellation Immortal Venerable. Heavenman Sensation could allow a GU Immortal's will to interact with the Heaven Dao will and fuse with it. And Workers of Heaven's Work killer move was built on the basis of Heavenman Sensation. It could allow a GU Immortal to replace Providence to a certain extent. Because of these 2 killer moves, star constellations will could interfere with and influence Providence. She could even replace Providence in controlling Fate GU, thus allowing the Celestial Court to have a smooth life and reign for over 3 million years. This is my way out. Fang Yuan immediately sensed acutely that these 2 killer moves were the key to breaking out of his current predicament. This time, he took the risk to come to the Heavenly Court and set up this trap to deceive Qin Ding Ling. In the end, he achieved his goal. Qi, I wonder if this research result can help you complete your killer move. Qin Ding Ling asked in the midst of an intense battle. Fang Yuan coughed. This Heaven Dao research results have indeed benefited me greatly. But modifying a killer move now is extremely risky. I need you to stall for time for me, the more the better. Qin Ding Ling gritted her teeth. Ancestor, you need to hurry, we can only do our best. If not, we can only abandon the Celestial Court and preserve the GU Immortals. She had already prepared for the worst-case scenario. Fang Yuan continued to read. Behind the two killer moves, star constellation Immortal Venerable's ideology was recorded in detail. Fang Yuan was enlightened and came to a realization. My will is providence, providence is my will, so that's it, so that's it. Fang Yuan did not move for now. He pondered over this profound meaning as his clone Wu Shuai led the Two Heavens Alliance to fight against the Celestial Court. Because Di Zhangsheng was hit by Primordial Origins method, he was no longer as powerful as before. He was suppressed by Ruan Dan. As for Shabi 95, it had already returned to the defensive line, becoming the main force against Dragon Palace. Under Wu Shuai's control, Dragon Palace rampaged through the battlefield, displaying its power. The Celestial Court side suffered greatly. But in other aspects, the Two Heavens Alliance's GU Immortals were at a disadvantage. They were not the match of the Celestial Court's GU Immortals. Compared to the Celestial Court's members, they were still lacking in strength. There were only two people who were on par with them, the two Vice Alliance leaders, Xiao He Jian and Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch. As for Spectral Soul, who was disguised as Lady Cold Ash, he continued to disguise himself. He fought with all his might but was unable to do so. This is a great opportunity. Fairy Myrtle, bring your men and join the battle in Celestial Court. Spectral Soul ordered. Fang Yuan is in Celestial Court. I want to kill him, as well as Celestial Court, Qixi Ancestor, and the rest. Fairy Myrtle received the order and asked, should we include Longevity Heaven's forces? What if we tell Celestial Court's situation? Fairy Myrtle deduced Fang Yuan's location. Bing Sichuan knew about it too. But Bing Sichuan's side did not know that Celestial Court was in such a situation. They only thought that Celestial Court was heavily guarded. Since that was the case, Bing Sichuan could only conceal Fang Yuan's location for now. Even though he wanted to make use of others to kill him, if Celestial Court really killed Fang Yuan, wouldn't all of Fang Yuan's inheritances and immortal GU go to Celestial Court? Thus, Bing Sichuan wanted to continue contacting Spectral Soul's side. He wanted the two sides to work together and attack Celestial Court in the future. Spectral Soul thought about Giant Sun's attack during the Fate War. He snorted coldly and said without hesitation, no need to tell them, we will hide it from them, come here. Fairy Myrtle concealed the truth and left with Bing Sichuan's group, rushing to Celestial Court. Celestial Court was damaged now. There were many holes in the aperture walls. They were connected to the outside world. Fairy Myrtle's group could easily and quickly attack. Fairy Myrtle's force cannot turn the situation around. Only when both sides are heavily injured will she have the greatest impact. Spectral Soul thought to himself. To him, the best situation was for Wu Shuai to fight against Celestial Court. They would lose a lot of battle strength. At that time, if he attacked, he would have huge gains. But why is that scoundrel Fang Yuan not attacking yet? Spectral Soul looked at Dragon Palace. At the same time, an immortal GU house from Celestial Court attacked him. Spectral Soul held back his killing intent, abandoning a group of soul beasts as he retreated. In order to act weak, he decided to endure it. But this immortal GU house charged forward and used a killer move. A ray of profound light shot out towards Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul's heart shook. He hesitated. He had the strength to dodge, but Lady Cold Ash did not. Without a choice, he could only abandon some soul beasts to block the immortal GU house and stall for time for him. Die. Che Wei suddenly appeared beside Lady Cold Ash. His body was shining with golden light. His aura was sharp like a blade. You really think I'm a pushover? Spectral Soul was furious, but he decided to maintain his disguise. Boom. Che Wei's attack landed on Lady Cold Ash's body. She fell down as a large amount of blood splattered in the air. Lady Cold Ash's aura weakened rapidly, until it was completely gone. Dead. Another one killed. Che Wei did not find Spectral Soul's weakness. He flew away with the immortal GU house towards other battlefields. Spectral soul fell to the ground like a broken sack. He did not move, he was pretending to be dead. Boom boom boom. Not long after he fell to the ground, a series of immortal killer moves turned into dazzling lightning that landed on Spectral Soul's body twice. Lady Cold Ash's body was charred black, most of her body was roasted, she emitted the fragrance of meat. I'll endure it. Spectral Soul gritted his teeth. Bam! With a loud sound, Di Zongsheng also fell down, pressing down on Spectral Soul. Next, Ruandan flew to Di Zongsheng's body, shouting as she fought, I'll fight 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 fight. Bam bam bam. The ground shook intensely, Spectral Soul's bones and tendons were all crushed. I'll endure it. Di Zongsheng and Ruandan flew away, but soon, an immortal GU house flew over. It was Dragon Palace. Immortal killer move, dreamy light smoke. Wu Shuai activated a dream path killer move as he chased after Qin Dingling relentlessly. Qin Dingling dodged quickly. The smoke-like killer move could not change direction in time. It was about to land on Spectral Soul's body. Spectral Soul, I can't take it anymore. At the next moment, he burst out, waving his hand as black chi spread across the entire battlefield. Chapter 2043. What is going on? Black chi shook as Xiao He-jian was forced to retreat. His face was filled with shock. He had seen Lady Cold Ash get killed by Che Wei and felt some regret. To think that not long after, Lady Cold Ash actually revived. Did she fake her death earlier? But her luck was not good and she was about to be hit by a dream path killer move, so she had to fight again? But, how can Lady Cold Ash have such battle strength? Not only was Xiao He-jian bewildered, the other GU immortals also had the same doubts. But compared to Celestial Courtside, the Two Heavens Alliance was not only shocked, but also joyful. After all, Lady Cold Ash had concealed herself so deeply, she was still one of them. That attack earlier had Duke Long's style. Is Lady Cold Ash a person on the same level as Duke Long? Mph, I don't believe it. Another GU immortal charged out from Celestial Courtside. It was none other than Che Wei, who had displayed his might in this battle. Che Wei pounced at Lady Cold Ash. All sorts of signs and information showed that attack earlier was Lady Cold Ash's trump card, she could not use it often. Kill. Che Wei's body shined with golden light, he crashed towards Lady Cold Ash like a meteor. At the same time, far from the battlefield, underground, the two generals of Celestial Court were still forcefully refining Hatred GU. Red Heart Traveler controlled the formation while Ching Cho was motionless like a statue. 9 Spiritual Fairies' voice came from the statue. It's about time, in a few more minutes, we will be able to completely refine Hatred GU. As soon as he finished speaking, Ching Cho's dim and lifeless eyes suddenly opened wide, and a crimson-red light shot out explosively from its eyes. What's going on? 9 Spiritual Fairy exclaimed in shock. What happened? Red Heart Traveler asked while injecting immortal essence to increase the immortal formation's power. But Ching Cho's body shook more and more violently. It's Hatred GU, oh no. 9 Spiritual Fairy suddenly cried out in shock. She was forced out of Ching Cho's body like a ray of light. Roar. Ching Cho regained its freedom, it roared towards the sky, its voice shook the heavens like thunder. Boom. At the next moment, Ching Cho charged out of the formation, leaving behind a damaged formation and 2 shocked Celestial Court rank 8 GU immortals. Red Heart Traveler was in charge of the formation and suffered a lot of backlash. He quickly helped up 9 Spiritual Fairy who had fallen to the ground. Ching Cho flew to the battlefield. What happened? 9 Spiritual Fairy's gaze was still dull, her tone uncertain. Maybe I saw wrongly. At that instant earlier, the rank 8 Hatred GU burst out with terrifying power. It actually had a trace of the aura of a rank 9 immortal GU. At this time, the battlefield attention had shifted from Dragon Palace and the Chi onto GU. Cho attack, GU Cho on, GU Cho on, GU on, GU, Cho, GU, Lady, GU Cho on Cho Demon to say. Chen on, Cho Dynasty Chen Demon GU, Demon Chen, to Spectral Soul's thought was direct. Since Fang Yuan is not coming out, I will force him to come out. Today was different from the past. During the Fate War, Spectral Soul was very weak. He could only rely on Fairy Myrtle and Old Man Zheng Yuan to escape and recuperate. But now, he had recovered most of his strength. He was no longer weak. What is going on? The immortals were even more shocked. Jiyu Cho gave up on Cho Dynasty and targeted Dragon Palace. Internal conflict. Cho Dynasty's momentum slowed. Let's observe the situation first. Maybe it is a trap. Qin Dingling wanted stability. She gathered her subordinates. Wu Shuai frowned. He controlled Dragon Palace to retreat. But Jiyu Cho was faster. She pressed her palm on the roof of Dragon Palace. The seemingly light palm caused Dragon Palace to be sent flying like a ball. At the same time, phantoms of immemorial soul beasts appeared on the surface of Dragon Palace. Roar, roar, roar. Every immemorial soul beast phantoms flashed by. Dragon Palace would suffer a heavy blow. Dozens of immemorial soul beast phantoms flashed by. A huge hole appeared on Dragon Palace's roof. The pillars were broken, tiles were sent flying. It was a pathetic sight. Cho Dynasty broke out in cold sweat. He had experienced Dragon Palace's strength firsthand, but now, Jiyu Cho only used one palm to force Dragon Palace to this state. So Jiyu Cho is so strong. I attacked earlier, I was courting death. Cho Dynasty's direction suddenly changed. He returned to the back. Jiyu Cho, what are you doing? Xiao Hejian shouted. What soul path killer move is this? It is so powerful. Even though Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch was furious on the surface, he was feeling a chill in his heart. Dragon Palace continued to retreat. You think you can escape? Jiyu Cho sneered. She was about to attack again when a huge shadow shrouded her body. Jiyu Cho turned around. She saw that the mountain-like Qing Cho had gotten close to her at some point. It opened its mouth and was about to devour Jiyu Cho. Seeing this, Jiyu Cho was also stunned. Spectral Soul knew about Qing Cho's existence. But he never expected that he would run into Qing Cho at this moment. Seeing that Jiyu Cho was about to be devoured, her body suddenly turned into black smoke. She floated and dodged Qing Cho's attack. Beast, scram! Jiyu Cho shouted. She stretched out her palm again and pressed it on Qing Cho's head. The scene from earlier happened again. Phantoms of immemorial soul beasts surrounded Qing Cho, flickering continuously. Bam bam bam. Each time the phantom appeared, there would be a loud sound of thunder. Qing Cho's flesh was soon torn apart, but it did not retreat. Spectral Soul was about to chase after Dragon Palace when Qing Cho blocked his path. Spectral Soul, I will kill you, I will kill you. Qing Cho roared as it pounced at Jiyu Cho. Spectral Soul was furious. I have no time to waste on you. He used Jiyu Cho's body to prepare a terrifying killer move. Traces of black smoke started to come out of Jiyu Cho's orifices. Her aura rose rapidly. The black smoke gathered and enveloped Qing Cho. Qing Cho activated an offensive killer move that crashed into the black smoke. After a breath of time, the black smoke dissipated. Qing Cho's killer move landed on Jiyu Cho's body without losing any momentum. Shock flashed across Jiyu Cho's face. She was sent flying as she was caught off guard. Rank 9 Immortal Jiyu? No, it is only a half-finished product. Jiyu Cho swallowed a mouthful of blood. She squinted as she sized up Qing Cho, her expression turning solemn. 9 Spiritual Fairy had just arrived at the battlefield. Her pupils shrunk. My senses were right. The rank 8 Hatred Jiyu is about to advance to rank 9. Qing Cho's origin is from the aggrieved souls that Spectral Soul Demon Venerable slaughtered. The core immortal Jiyu that formed Qing Cho is Hatred Jiyu, but the relationship between Hatred Jiyu and Qing Cho is not simple. Not only did Hatred Jiyu create Qing Cho is also nurturing and refining Hatred Jiyu. Maybe at the start, Hatred Jiyu was only rank 6, or even rank 4 or 5. But as Qing Cho grew, its endless hatred caused Hatred Jiyu to advance. Until now, Hatred Jiyu is advancing from rank 8 to rank 9. Chapter 2044. What situation was this? Seeing that Lady Cold Ash was sent flying by Qing Cho, the immortals were stunned. The aura of a rank 9 immortal GU could not be faked, but this aura was too weak, and it was mainly the aura of a rank 8 immortal GU. This was the first time something like this had happened. An incomplete rank 9 immortal GU? The immortals felt that it was inconceivable. GU refinement had always been a very careful process, be it human GU refinement methods or hairy man GU refinement methods, they were extremely meticulous. Fang Yuan was like this, long hair ancestor was also like this. They had never heard of a GU worm that could still be used during the GU refinement process. But the truth was right in front of them, the immortals had to admit it. What refinement method is this? Many GU immortals were very excited. This is definitely a new chapter in refinement path. Spectral soul? Ching Cho has hatred GU, it should not be wrong. To think that Lady Cold Ash was actually spectral soul in disguise. From spectral soul's words, it seems that Fang Yuan is also here. Is he hiding in Dragon Palace? The immortals were shocked and uncertain. There were too many accidents in this battle. Celestial Court, the two heavens, spectral soul, Fang Yuan, and others had their own arrangements, none of them knew the overall situation. Even though Fang Yuan had been reborn, it was the same. Spectral soul's identity was exposed, he felt a trace of joy. Dragon Palace retreated even faster. Wu Shuai immediately called back the 3 dragon generals, he also ordered the other 2 Heavens Alliance GU immortals to defend Dragon Palace and deal with spectral soul. Wu Shuai did not dare to rashly bring the other 2 Heavens Alliance GU immortals into Dragon Palace. Spectral soul's identity was exposed, they were also very suspicious. I can't wait any longer. Qi Si ancestor, Fang Yuan, gritted his teeth as he secretly made a move. He had planned to disguise himself for a while, but with spectral soul's exposure and Ching Cho's participation, he knew that he had lost control of the situation, he had to act quickly. Fang Yuan contacted Qin Dingling. The modification has results, protect me, it will be very crucial next. Understood. A hint of joy flashed across Qin Dingling's face. This was the best news she had heard since the start of the battle. Celestial Court's GU immortals retreated and formed a tight defense line, they were very wary of Spectral Soul and Dragon Palace's Wu Shuai. Raw. Ching Cho charged towards Frost Ash Immortal GU. Hatred Gu's rank 9 aura became denser, it was as if Spectral Soul's appearance had triggered the deepest hatred in Ching Cho's heart. This intense hatred was rapidly refining Hatred Immortal GU. When Hatred Immortal GU was activated, it amplified Ching Cho in all aspects. Especially the offensive killer moves, their power rose sharply, they were terrifying. As Spectral Soul fought against Ching Cho, he was suppressed for some time. The hostility on his face intensified. After a few rounds, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of black gas. The black gas was small and dim, seemingly unremarkable, but when it flew onto Ching Cho's body, Ching Cho's movements became sluggish, and its attacks became disjointed. Spectral Soul's body shook, he turned into countless clones that surrounded Ching Cho. Ching Cho had Hatred GU, it should be able to identify the real one. But against the countless spectral souls, it showed a confused expression, it lost its target. Spectral Soul's true body suddenly appeared on Ching Cho's back, he stretched out his hand as his palm and forearm pierced deeply into Ching Cho's body. Ching Cho's body shook intensely, it was in extreme pain, it roared at the sky. Ching Cho unleashed immortal killer moves repeatedly, disregarding its own safety, it attacked Spectral Soul who was on its back. Spectral Soul took the attacks head-on, he had to maintain his current method. Ching Cho fell to the ground, with a loud sound, heaven and earth shook, a huge pit was created. Ching Cho rolled on the ground, but it could not shake off Spectral Soul. Oh no, he is refining Ching Cho. Qin Dingling saw something, her heart jumped, she was about to order the other GU immortals to disturb Spectral Soul. However, Wu Shuai was one step faster. Dragon Palace activated dreamy light smoke again, pink smoke floated towards Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul was not afraid of other methods, but he was wary of Dream Path killer moves. He had no choice but to stop his methods and retreat. Ching Cho broke free and regained its freedom, but it was dispirited, it almost fell to the ground. In contrast, after Spectral Soul flew into the sky, his aura rose by a huge amount. Evidently, the method used against Ching Cho earlier was not just enslavement, it also had the ability to extract its strength. Seeing this, almost all of the GU Immortals' hearts sank. Ching Cho had quasi-rank 9 Hatred GU, its battle strength sword. It was already at the level of Fang Yuan, Duke Long, and Feng Joga during the Fate War, but it could not do much against Spectral Soul. Other than an accident when it attacked Spectral Soul at the start, when Spectral Soul regained his footing, Ching Cho was completely countered by Spectral Soul. In the end, Ching Cho was an immemorial soul beast. And immemorial soul beasts were too familiar to Spectral Soul, who cultivated Soul Path as his main path. Spectral Soul had many methods to counter immemorial soul beasts. Speaking of which, the reason why soul beasts could appear and form was because of Spectral Soul demon Venerable. It is a pity, I was so close to enslaving this legendary desolate beast. Me. Fang Yuan, you are courting death. Spectral Soul's plan was foiled, he had a cold expression, killing intent surged as he charged towards Dragon Palace again. Both sides fought again, Wu Shuai fought with all his might, but he could not resist Spectral Soul's methods, he was forced to retreat. Spectral Soul's demonic might was vast, he rampaged in the battlefield, unstoppable. Dragon Palace, which had been showing off its might earlier, could not resist his unparalleled might. His killer moves were endless, they were either powerful or strange, they could not be defended against. Spectral Soul had recovered, even though he was not as strong as when he was refining Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU on Yi Tian Mountain, he had already recovered. Wu Shuai controlled Dragon Palace to fight against Spectral Soul, Ching Cho and the rest interfered, but he was still at a disadvantage, the situation was getting more dangerous. After more than 10 rounds, Dragon Palace was in ruins, the 3 dragon generals also died at Spectral Soul's hands. Thankfully, Dreamy Light Smoke was a killer move that made Spectral Soul wary. The 2 Heavens Alliance's GU Immortals could not be counted on, they all retreated to the side. Spectral Soul was too terrifying, whoever went up would die. It's about time. Wu Shuai finally received a secret transmission from his main body. He let out a breath of air, he quickly controlled Dragon Palace to charge towards the Qi harvest fruit. Qin Ding Ling and the rest formed a defensive line, they were like cats that had their fur blown up, they shined with endless light. Wu Shuai shouted, "Celestial Court, if you don't act now, when Spectral Soul kills me, you will all die." Qin Ding Ling shouted coldly, "Stop, no matter who comes, we will attack them with all our might." Ever since Spectral Soul fought with Dragon Palace, Celestial Court had been watching from the sidelines, they rarely made a move. Qin Ding Ling and the rest were watching, if Fang Yuan did not make a move, they would not dare to attack, who knew what schemes this demon Fang Yuan had up his sleeve. Wu Shuai ignored them, he controlled Dragon Palace to get close to Celestial Court's defensive line. Behind him, Spectral Soul was following closely. Qin Ding Ling's expression was grim, she ordered, "Destroy Dragon Palace, force it back." Rumble, all sorts of killer moves landed on Dragon Palace, the sky was filled with dazzling lights and shadows. The Dragon Palace was like a broken ship, going against the current in the raging waves. A large number of GU worms died, including Immortal GU. After this battle, Dragon Palace was heavily damaged, the cost of repairing it was very high. Oh no, it really came. Seeing that Dragon Palace was about to shake Celestial Court's defensive line, at the crucial moment, Shabi 95 and Rwandan stood up and blocked Dragon Palace. But soon, Spectral Soul arrived, a chaotic battle ensued. Die. Spectral Soul's killing intent surged, he quickly gained the upper hand. Celestial Court's defensive line was on the verge of collapse. Right at this time, Qi ancestors' laughter could be heard. Swish swish swish. The Qi harvest fruit that had shrunk to its limit exploded, vast Qi currents surged like a tsunami, shaking heaven and earth, causing winds and clouds to gather, covering the entire battlefield in an instant, spreading to the surrounding 10,000 li. At once, the GU Immortals lost their sense of direction, all they could see was white Qi, they could not even see their own fingers. At the center of the Qi currents condensed into the shape of a baby, continuously absorbing the white Qi. In a few breaths of time, The baby grew and turned old. It had the appearance of Qi ancestor, rank 8 cultivation level. Fang Yuan's main body flashed. He waved his sleeves as a split soul that was prepared flew out, bringing along many Jiu worms and immortal essence as it entered Qi ancestor's body. After obtaining the soul, the Qi clone opened his eyes. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan's main body took the chance to enter Dragon Palace. Chapter 2045. Fang Yuan had always planned before taking action. This trip to Celestial Court was indeed risky, but he had made ample preparations. He refined the Celestial Court Qi harvest fruit into a Qi path clone, while his main body entered Dragon Palace in an instant. There were many Jiu immortals in the battlefield, but none of them discovered the truth. Fang Yuan's Qi path clone inhaled, absorbing the remaining white Qi into his body. Next, he pushed with both palms. With a loud sound, a huge Qi wall condensed and pressed down on Dragon Palace and Spectral Soul with an overwhelming force. Spectral Soul's eyes shined with bright light. Black smoke burst out of his body and collided with the Qi wall, creating a sizzling sound. The Qi wall melted, but the surrounding Qi walls quickly filled up the gap. Spectral Soul made use of this momentary gap to turn into black light, passing through at lightning speed. Spectral Soul left a portion of his attention on Qi ancestor. Most of his attention was still on Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace was huge. This Qi wall was not easy to pass. Once Dragon Palace's Qi wall showed a weakness, Spectral Soul would immediately attack, using Qi ancestor's killer move to deal a heavy blow to Dragon Palace. Right when the Qi wall was about to hit Dragon Palace, the door of Dragon Palace opened. Fang Yuan's body was straight like a spear, appearing in front of the immortals. Immortal killer move unlimited Qi. Fang Yuan had already prepared his move. He stretched out his right hand and grabbed at the Qi wall. The huge Qi wall shook and collapsed, turning into countless Qi currents that were swept away by a formless force, entering Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. Fang Yuan. He is here after all. This move again. During the Fate War, he used this move to break the primordial Qi wall. The immortals saw Fang Yuan in front of them. Their hearts shook intensely. The Celestial Court's Jiu immortals had ashen expressions. They lost the Fate War. Fang Yuan had already turned into a huge shadow that shrouded their hearts. The two Heavens Alliance's Jiu immortals were shocked and joyful. After all, according to Fang Yuan's current behavior, he should be standing on their side. Spectral Soul's pupils shrunk. Fang Yuan's performance made him slightly bewildered. Previously, Fang Yuan had been strengthened by the heavenly Dao marks, so how could he still have such powerful battle prowess? The entire battlefield fell into a strange silence. Fang Yuan and Qi ancestor appeared at almost the same time. The entire situation of the battlefield changed. Celestial Court was heavily guarded by Qi ancestor, Spectral Soul was alone, and Fang Yuan was at the entrance of Dragon Palace. The three strongest Jiu immortals faced each other. In the Jiu world, experts were respected. The following battle would depend on these three's competition. To think that there would be a day when my Celestial Court could no longer control the situation. Qin Dingling sighed internally as she transmitted to Qi ancestor, asking about his situation. Qi ancestor immediately replied, "Even though the Qi harvest fruits were cleared, I suffered heavy injuries. As for how to survive this tribulation, I will need everyone in Celestial Court to work together." Qin Dingling continued, "This time, it was all thanks to Ancestor that Celestial Court's crisis was resolved. After repelling the enemies, Celestial Court will definitely give Ancestor a satisfactory reward." Qin Dingling tried to recruit Qi Ancestor. At this time, Dragon Palace suddenly moved, flying into the sky like an orange-gold meteor. Celestial Court had experienced this tribulation. It was already filled with holes. The Dragon Palace followed the loophole and easily left the Heavenly Court, heading to the primordial White Heaven. The remaining immortals looked at Dragon Palace in a daze. Even though Fang Yuan appeared and cooperated with Wu Shuai, these two actually escape. Was this still the number one demon of the current era? It seems that Fang Yuan has not replied yet. Even though his attack earlier was powerful and broke Qi ancestor's Qi wall killer move, he is probably at the end of his tether. Should we give chase? This demon Fang Yuan is very crafty. I am afraid that this is just his plan to lure the enemies. He might even be setting up an immortal formation outside, waiting for us to fall into his trap. The Celestial Court GU Immortals hesitated, while the Two Heavens Alliance GU Immortals were already cursing internally. Their morale, the powerhouses and great experts that they had pinned their hopes on, had actually fled. They had fled even faster than them. Meanwhile, the Two Heavens Alliance GU Immortals were left in Celestial Court. They were abandoned. Fang Yuan, where do you think you can escape to? Since you are here, die here. Spectral Soul snickered, carrying Lady Cold Ash's body. He also charged out of Celestial Court, chasing after Dragon Palace. Roar. Ching Cho roared. It had already recovered most of its lost strength. Even though the rank 9 aura of Hatred GU was not complete, it was several times denser than before. Spectral Soul, I want you to die. Harboring an irreconcilable hatred, Ching Cho did not hesitate. It chased after Spectral Soul. Thus, only the Celestial Court GU Immortals, Chi-Si Ancestor, and the Two Heavens Alliance GU Immortals were left in the battlefield. Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao He Jian looked at each other. The Two Heavens Alliance GU Immortals were in an awkward situation. Let's chase. Protect Dragon Palace. Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao He Jian worked together for the first time. They shouted a slogan that even they did not believe in as they charged out of Celestial Court. The remaining Two Heavens Alliance GU Immortals shouted as well, following the two Vice Alliance leaders as they left the battlefield of Celestial Court. Are we going to kill these variant human GU Immortals? Prince's impatience asked Qin Dingling. Qin Dingling looked at Chi-Si Ancestor. She thought about it before saying resolutely, no. These variant human GU Immortals are only a small problem. The most important thing is Fang Yuan. 2 of you will stay behind to clean up the battlefield, the rest will follow me. We will hunt down Fang Yuan with all our strength. Fang Yuan was not in a good state now. This was the best time to get rid of him. Once they killed Fang Yuan, if they were lucky, the loot they obtained would satisfy the entire Celestial Court. Fang Yuan had too many good things on him. He had countless immortal GU and an extremely outstanding inheritance. Even without these things, as long as they could capture Fang Yuan's soul and search for his memories before his rebirth, it would be extremely valuable to the Celestial Court. Even if they killed Fang Yuan, the Celestial Court would not gain anything substantial. But as long as Fang Yuan died at the hands of the Celestial Court, the Celestial Court would regain their morale and get rid of the shadow of defeat in the Fate War. They would be able to look down on the world with their heads held high. Even if we cannot kill Fang Yuan, we cannot let Spectral Soul kill Fang Yuan. On the other hand, Qin Dingling was also wary of the old demon Spectral Soul. Ancestor. Qin Dingling was about to speak when Chi-Si Ancestor interrupted her. Don't say anything else, be it Fang Yuan or Spectral Soul, they are both demons. Everyone in the righteous path has the right to kill them. Time is pressing, the opportunity is fleeting, we need to chase after them. At the crucial moment, Chi-Si Ancestor displayed his righteous path's responsibility. This attitude made the Celestial Court's immortals have a good impression of him. Qin Dingling nodded heavily. If not for Chi-Si Ancestor, they would not be able to chase after them. The main body's situation is bad, I need to take care of him. The Celestial Court's GU Immortals are more useful than the Two Heavens Alliance's cannon fodder. Chi-Si Ancestor had a scheme in his mind. He led the Celestial Court's Immortals to join the chase. This way, Dragon Palace was flying at the front, while Spectral Soul was closing the distance between them. Next was Ching Cho. Next was Chi-Si Ancestor and the Celestial Court's Immortals. As for the two Vice Alliance leaders of the Two Heavens Alliance and the other variant human GU Immortals, after leaving the battlefield of the Celestial Court, they had already scattered. They only wanted to escape. They did not dare to get involved in this mess. At this time, Dragon Palace's door was already shut. Fang Yuan sat on the ground, actively modifying the killer move's heaven-human sensation and replacement of workers with heaven. Fang Yuan lacked most of the GU worms needed for these two killer moves. Fang Yuan could only modify them and replace the GU worms needed to make these two killer moves work for him. Immortal GU were unique. These two killer moves had just been obtained. Fang Yuan's difficulty in modifying them increased greatly. After experimenting for a while, Fang Yuan changed his strategy. He gave up on the GU immortal level and started with mortal killer moves. Fang Yuan communicated with dual yellow skies and quickly gathered the corresponding mortal GU worms. With the GU worms, modifying killer moves would drop from an immortal killer move to a mortal killer move. The difficulty would plummet to rock bottom. With these two mortal killer moves, Fang Yuan stopped the formation in the sovereign immortal aperture. He stopped using chi tides to cleanse the 9 heavens and 5 earths in the immortal aperture. Soon, Providence was created. Fang Yuan first sent a will to Providence. Next, he activated Heaven-Human Sensation. Fang Yuan's will fused into Providence. After that, he used Heaven's Worker's substitute killer move. After a while, Fang Yuan's eyes shined with shocking light. I sensed a certain heaven path Dao mark. If the word sense was used instead, Fang Yuan would use another word, capture. Originally, with the heaven path Dao mark on him, even though Fang Yuan knew about it, he could only ignore it. But this time was different. When Fang Yuan sensed it, it meant that this heaven path Dao mark was temporarily under his control. Chapter 2046. Rumble. With a loud sound, Dragon Palace suffered a heavy blow. It shook intensely. A large number of tiles on the roof broke and fell. The moment they fell to the air, these tiles turned into GU worm fragments. They were blown away by the intense winds in the sky. Spectral Soul had caught up. He was extremely fast. Even when Wu Shuai pushed Dragon Palace to its maximum speed, it could not match Spectral Soul's speed. Spectral Soul's body was covered in a layer of pitch-black fog. Every time he attacked, Dragon Palace would suffer heavy damage. Wu Shuai had to focus on repairing it, but thankfully, he had many GU worms. He was well prepared. Fang Yuan frowned deeply. His expression was grim. He came to the Celestial Court with the identity of Qi-Si ancestor. His goal was to resolve the heaven path Dao marks on him. When he achieved his goal, he immediately chose to escape. Who cared about the title of the number 1 demon? Fang Yuan never cared about it. However, Fang Yuan's goal was achieved now, but he needed time. What he lacked now was time. Next, Spectral Soul will chase after me relentlessly. The Celestial Court will probably do the same. They will not let me escape easily. It will be very difficult for me to escape this time. Fang Yuan's movement methods had been improving. Long ago, his strongest teleportation method was to transform into an ancient sword dragon and use sword escape killer move. After that was omnidirectional travel, followed by fixed immortal travel, as well as a killer move that used fixed immortal travel as the core. But among these methods, even omnidirectional travel could not match Spectral Soul's speed. Fixed immortal travel might have a chance of escaping, but Fang Yuan was very weak now. He was constantly being interfered with by the heaven path Dao marks. If Fang Yuan wanted to get rid of this interference and completely refine these heaven path Dao marks, he would need a long time. Fang Yuan thought about it from another perspective. Be it Spectral Soul or the Celestial Court, they wanted Fang Yuan to die. The former expended almost all of his wealth to refine sovereign immortal fetus GU, but Fang Yuan intercepted him. The latter's base was ravaged by Fang Yuan and the spiritual pillar of fate GU was destroyed by Fang Yuan. The Celestial Court was the leader of the righteous path, and they cared about their reputation the most. In the end, during the Fate War, the Celestial Court's reputation was beaten swollen by Fang Yuan. In the past, the Celestial Court could not deal with them because they could not find Fang Yuan. In the future, they might not be able to deal with Fang Yuan. Once Fang Yuan regained his strength, the Celestial Court would have a hard time dealing with him. Now that the Celestial Court has found Fang Yuan, of course they will kill you. If he missed this opportunity, he wouldn't be able to find it again. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Fang Yuan was very clear about his situation. Thoughts collided in his mind as he actively tried to think of a way out. However, his expression immediately changed. It turned out that the heaven path Dao marks in his body had changed again. They started to stir up trouble. Their interference towards Fang Yuan had increased by several times. When Fang Yuan dealt with the Qi Wall earlier, he made a huge commotion, but a large part of it was because of Qi-Si ancestors' secret cooperation. he could not use his true battle strength. But even at this level, Fang Yuan had secretly used human path methods to resist the interference of the heaven path Dao marks with all his strength. He could only reach his limit. Outside, Spectral Soul was attacking Dragon Palace in a frenzy. The outer walls were filled with cracks, tiles were flying everywhere. There were heaven path Dao marks inside that restricted Fang Yuan's movements. The situation was very dangerous. It was even more dangerous than the Fate War. After all, during the Fate War, Fang Yuan could still use Spring-Autumn Cicada. But now, his greatest trump card had lost its effect. Fang Yuan had no chance to redo it. If he made any mistakes, he would die a pitiful death. Spectral Soul's killing intent penetrated Dragon Palace and caused Fang Yuan's hair to stand on end. Fang Yuan's lips curled up. He had already thought it through. Go to Crazed Demon Cave. The Heaven Path Dao marks were interfering with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan could not use his killer moves easily. Even if he could, the effect would be very poor. Fang Yuan could only get out of this predicament with the help of external forces. As for the other dangerous areas, they were not of much help to Fang Yuan. After all, Dragon Palace was the fleeing party. It was at the front. If they barged into a dangerous area, Dragon Palace would be the first to suffer the retaliation. Instead, they would be at a disadvantage. Spectral Soul would have the advantage. But Crazed Demon Cave was different. In a certain layer of Crazed Demon Cave, Fang Yuan could use the Sovereign Immortal Body to enter the next layer, while the other GU Immortals would be blocked. As for whether Spectral Soul could pass, Fang Yuan did not know. But he could take a gamble. After all, Spectral Soul was not in his complete state when he was alive. And most importantly, Spectral Soul did not have the Sovereign Immortal Body. Even if Spectral Soul uses a forceful force to pass, he would expend a lot of strength. Furthermore, the next layer is extremely vast and profound. I can continue to fight against Spectral Soul inside. Fang Yuan made up his mind. He activated Dragon Palace and changed directions, heading towards the north. As for Wu Shuai, he was in charge of repairing Dragon Palace. Spectral Soul saw that Dragon Palace was escaping. He breathed in deeply as he got closer. He stretched out his hand and attacked Dragon Palace. At the next moment, countless immemorial soul beast phantoms appeared. Each time they appeared, Dragon Palace's outer wall would crumble. After the soul beast phantoms flashed for an entire round, several pillars at the top of Dragon Palace started to show cracks. Wu Shuai had a grim expression. Oh no, this killer move is very powerful. It actually attacked the immortal GU house from inside out. Many of Dragon Palace's core immortal GU were damaged. Fang Yuan's main body squinted. The door of Dragon Palace was shut, but his vision was not obstructed. He could see the situation outside Dragon Palace clearly. Fang Yuan said solemnly, Spectral Soul has used this soul path killer move before, but it is clearly more effective this time. Evidently, Spectral Soul modified it at the last minute. This was truly terrifying. Spectral Soul was extremely strong. Even though he was no longer rank 9, he had battle strength on par with Duke Long. Even though most of his attainment level was stripped away, his soul path attainment level did not fall by much. Even though Spectral Soul had not fought Dragon Palace for a long time, he had already deduced many of Dragon Palace's weaknesses. Thus, the modified soul path killer move was becoming more and more threatening. Furthermore, Spectral Soul had rich battle experience. He was even more experienced than Fang Yuan in this aspect. After all, he had slaughtered all over the world back then. After a few more rounds, Dragon Palace could not resist Spectral Soul at all. Fang Yuan sighed. He could only send other immortal GU houses. A silver-white flying ship with a long and narrow body flew out like a flying sword, shining with silver light as it flew towards Spectral Soul. It was Myriad Year Flying Warship. Spectral Soul's figure flickered, dodging it. Myriad Year Flying Warship quickly turned around, activating a killer move to attack Spectral Soul from afar. At once, Dragon Palace fought while retreating. Myriad Year Flying Warship supported it from the side, doing its best to protect it. Spectral Soul chased them all the way. His demonic aura caused countless winds and clouds to change. Fang Yuan's main body was affected by the Heaven Path Dao marks, but the immortal GU house left his body to fight alone. it was free from this fatal restriction. As long as Fang Yuan's will and immortal essence reserves were not exhausted inside the immortal Jiyu house, myriad-year flying warship had the strength to fight. But Spectral Soul had incredible strength. He used all sorts of killer moves that were either powerful and hard to defend against, or extremely peculiar. He easily nullified all of Fang Yuan's efforts. He had complete control over the entire battle. Even with the combined strength of 2 rank 8 immortal Jiyu houses, they were not Spectral Soul's match. Most importantly, during the Fate War, 12 Zodiac Ancient Battle Formation was completely destroyed. Otherwise, myriad-year flying warship and 12 Zodiac Ancient Battle Formation would have been enough to cause trouble for Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan considered the situation. He did not change his previous decision. He still focused on escaping. After obtaining the Celestial Court's Heaven Path research results, Fang Yuan had the advantage of time. As long as he avoided this danger, when Fang Yuan completely dealt with the problem of the Heaven Path Dao marks, he would be able to hold his head high. Spectral Soul attacked with all his might. In his opinion, this was the best time to get rid of Fang Yuan and take back the sovereign immortal body. Not just the sovereign immortal body, but also the dream realms that Fang Yuan plundered. Spectral Soul could regain his attainment level after regaining the dream realms. In this world, what could allow Spectral Soul to recover his strength so quickly? Fang Yuan was the undisputed number one. In Spectral Soul's eyes, Fang Yuan was a human-shaped moving treasure vault. "Yu Hun, go to hell. I want you dead." Ching Cho was covered in wind and lightning as it approached. Dragon Palace, myriad-year flying warship, and Spectral Soul fought as they moved. Their speed was greatly reduced. This allowed Ching Cho to catch up. Ching Cho's eyes were bloodshot, its face was twisted and terrifying. It only had Spectral Soul in its eyes. In just a short period of time, the rank 9 aura of Hatred Jiyu on its body had doubled. It was shocking. Ching Cho was even stronger now. It roared as a lightning ball with a human face shot out from its throat. The lightning ball was extremely fast. It was greenish-black in color. It was eerie and cold. It flew quickly but silently. Spectral Soul waved his hand as a black whip formed, wanting to send the lightning ball flying. But the human face on the lightning ball smiled sinisterly. It increased its speed and dodged the whip, getting close to Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul was about to use another killer move, but the lightning ball had already self-detonated. Rumble. The lightning ball's self-detonation was terrifying. Spectral Soul was sent flying far away. The range of the explosion was huge. Fang Yuan's Dragon Palace and myriad-year flying warship were not spared. They were both affected. Ching Cho endured the shockwaves of the explosion as it charged toward Spectral Soul without any regard for its own safety. "You beast." After being disrupted time and time again, Spectral Soul was extremely furious. Fang Yuan took the chance to escape. Spectral Soul saw Dragon Palace's movement and became even more furious. "Little beast, don't think of escaping." Dragon Palace's speed fell as expected. Black fog rose from the destroyed area of Dragon Palace. It was severely slowing down. What killer move is this? When did Spectral Soul use it? Fang Yuan was shocked. He instantly had the thought of moving into myriad-year flying warship. But unfortunately, myriad-year flying warship was also emitting black fog. Its speed was slow. The black fog soon dispersed, but Spectral Soul seized the opportunity. He defeated Ching Cho and approached Dragon Palace. At once, the three sides engaged in a chaotic battle. Fang Yuan wanted to get rid of Spectral Soul, but Ching Cho was already overwhelmed by hatred. It had no intention to cooperate. Ching Cho only wanted to deal with Spectral Soul, but it did not care about Fang Yuan. It used all sorts of killer moves against Dragon Palace. To protect himself, Fang Yuan had to deal with Ching Cho at times. After a few rounds, Spectral Soul gained the upper hand again. Even though he was only Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's soul, he was extremely strong. His battle style was different from Duke Long's dominance. He was more ruthless and crafty. His killing intent was bone-chilling. He was ruthless and crazy. But he had a terrifying understanding of the situation. He often attacked and made use of Fang Yuan's and Ching Cho's strength to exhaust each other. The number of times Spectral Soul attacked was decreasing, but in the chaotic battle between the three sides, his advantage was becoming firmer. Chapter 2047. In terms of battle experience, I cannot compare to Spectral Soul. In the three-way battle, Fang Yuan clearly sensed the difference between them. Even though Fang Yuan had been reborn many times, in terms of overall battle foundation, he could not compare to Venerable's. But the main reason is that Qing Chou has lost its rationality. Even though it attacks ferociously and disregards its own safety, Spectral Soul is still making use of it. If Qing Chou had a clear mind, it would not end up like this. Fang Yuan felt some regret. Even though Hatred Gu was advancing towards rank 9 and Qing Chou's battle strength was getting stronger, it lacked intelligence. No matter how strong it was, it would only be used by Spectral Soul. Even after using Dragon Palace and Myriad Year Flying Warship, Fang Yuan still felt weak. This was something that had never happened before. Fang Yuan was still retreating. He fought as he retreated. Even though he was at a disadvantage, as long as Spectral Soul could not use a battlefield killer move to trap Fang Yuan would be free. Dragon Palace broke through the Heavenly Wind Chi Wall first, descending towards Central Continent. Myriad Year Flying Warship did its best to protect it. Spectral Soul's body turned into black smoke as he chased after it, unable to get rid of it. Finally, Qing Chou's mountain-like body broke through the Qi Wall and left immemorial white heaven, arriving in Central Continent. Qi Si Ancestor, Qin Ding Ling and the rest left Celestial Court and chased after them. When they found out that Fang Yuan and the rest had landed in Central Continent, Celestial Court's immortals became anxious. This scoundrel Fang Yuan, he did not escape from the huge immemorial white heaven, he chose to come to Central Continent. He is not having a good time. He still wants to implicate the innocent. He truly deserves to die. Qi Si Ancestor also snorted coldly. Fang Yuan has been causing trouble for too long. If we can kill him this time, it will be a blessing to the world. While saying that, he secretly used a method to inform the main body, Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan immediately understood. Celestial Court's pursuers would soon catch up. But he had no choice. His speed was greatly hindered by Spectral Soul. When the Celestial Court's people caught up, they found that Spectral Soul was suppressing Fang Yuan and Qing Chou. Qin Ding Ling frowned. She hesitated for a moment before saying to Qi Si Ancestor, "Ancestor, please attack Fang Yuan first and kill him." How could Qi Si Ancestor attack the main body? He said after some hesitation. In this situation, Fang Yuan is weak while Spectral Soul is strong. Both are overlords of the demonic path. If we deal with Fang Yuan and suffer his final counterattack, Spectral Soul might succeed in the end. Qin Ding Ling shook her head. "Ancestor, you still don't know Fang Yuan very well. He was too cunning and sinister. He definitely had a backup plan. Perhaps the current battle situation was just a layer of his disguise. We must kill him and not give him a chance." Qi Si Ancestor, Celestial Court had suffered too many losses at the hands of Fang Yuan. Qin Ding Ling's hatred towards Fang Yuan was so deep that it surpassed Spectral Soul's. But thinking about it, back when Spectral Soul was invincible in the world, he did not cause as much damage to Celestial Court as Fang Yuan. Qin Ding Ling's thoughts were easy to understand. Qi Si Ancestor could only ask the main body secretly, what should they do next? If there was no other choice, Qi Si Ancestor could only attack Spectral Soul and help Fang Yuan's main body escape. Fang Yuan replied, "Don't be in a hurry, let me try first." Dragon Palace's door suddenly opened. A pure dream reality seeker physique body flew out. The pure dream reality seeker physique body flew towards Spectral Soul. The latter's pupils shrunk as he retreated. Bam! The pure dream reality seeker physique body self-detonated, turning into a lump of dream realm that floated in the air, forming a temporary barrier. Dragon Palace and Myriad Year Flying Warship used this chance to pull away. Spectral Soul went around the dream realm and chased after it again. But Qing Chou lost its rationality. It fell into the dream realm. Roar! The aura of hatred Gu on Qing Chou's body erupted. It actually broke out of the dream realm and attacked. This is. Qing Chou actually charged into the dream realm. It was not trapped. It is hatred Gu. The legends of Ren Zhu had a vague description of it. Hatred has no dreams. Fang Yuan was also shocked by this. Qing Chou clearly did not have any dream path methods. It actually used hatred Gu to break out. Dream Path was ahead of the entire era. It could be said to be invincible, but it could not counter Hatred GU. Hatred has no dreams, or rather, against the rank 9 Hatred GU, the scale of the dream realm earlier was not enough. Fang Yuan's thoughts moved rapidly. Like the killer move dreamy light smoke, if it hit Spectral Soul, it could only trap him for a while. He would break out later and cause Dragon Palace to collapse. Dreamy light smoke's level was still lower than Spectral Soul's. If it was raised to rank 9, it would be a different situation. Even so, whenever Spectral Soul encountered Dreamy Light Smoke killer move, he mainly dodged. He was extremely calm. He was extremely fast, moving like a phantom. It was like teleportation in short distances. It was extremely difficult for Dreamy Light Smoke to hit him. However, what made Fang Yuan happy was that Spectral Soul could not deal with dream realms. I obtained the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies from Shadow Sect. Spectral Soul definitely has them. But he probably lacks the corresponding immortal GU. He cannot use the killer move. After Fang Yuan sensed this, he immediately condensed a large number of pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and self-detonated. Bam 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 bam. In the blink of an eye, Dragon Palace and myriad-year flying warship were surrounded by dream realms. There was no gap left. Spectral Soul snorted coldly, stopping his attacks. This Fang Yuan. Qin Ding Ling gritted her teeth. Fang Yuan's method of self-defense was too shameless. Even the Celestial Court Immortals could not deal with it. Be careful of Spectral Soul, Qi Si Ancestor reminded. Fang Yuan watched from the sidelines. The Celestial Court Immortals were in an awkward situation. Spectral Soul looked at them coldly. Qi Si Ancestor stood at the front without hesitation. Ching Cho roared angrily as it continued to attack Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul said in displeasure, "Beast. Since you want to die, I will kill you first." His body suddenly vanished, appearing on Ching Cho's back at the next moment. But right when Spectral Soul was about to attack Ching Cho, a Chi Path killer move attacked him. Spectral Soul had to block it. Ching Cho used the chance to turn around and spat out a green-black lightning ball, escaping from danger. Spectral Soul looked at Qi Si Ancestor with a cold gaze. The one who interrupted him earlier was Qi Si Ancestor. Qi Si Ancestor looked at Spectral Soul with a vigilant expression. He explained to Qin Ding Ling, "We cannot let Spectral Soul succeed again. He seems to be able to absorb the strength of immemorial soul beasts to strengthen himself. Can the Celestial Court continue to attack and enslave Ching Cho?" Qin Ding Ling sighed. "We have already lost our best chance. Ching Cho's strength has increased. We need to wait for a good opportunity to refine Hatred GU." The Celestial Court GU Immortals did not blame Qi Si Ancestor for attacking recklessly. In fact, it was reasonable for Qi Si Ancestor to attack. From the perspective of the Celestial Court Immortals, Fang Yuan was trapped in a dream realm. Qi Si Ancestor helped Ching Cho and did not want Spectral Soul to grow stronger. It was for the sake of the Celestial Court. At the next moment, Spectral Soul charged towards the Celestial Court Immortals. Ching Cho followed closely. It was another chaotic three-way battle, but this time, the Celestial Court took away Fang Yuan's role. Fang Yuan was safe for now. The only thing he had to take care of was the moving dream realms. To form a tight defense line, he needed to detonate pure dream reality seeker physique bodies frequently to fill the gaps in the defense line. Immortal killer move, Yin-Yang Great Killer Move. Rumble. With the sound of explosions, two giant hands, one black and one white, appeared from the left and right. The two giant hands covered the sky. They flew in a mystical trajectory and grabbed Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul suddenly screamed. When he appeared again, he was already in front of Qi Si Ancestor. At the center of the yin-yang hands, Spectral Soul's original position was replaced by an immemorial soul beast. Spectral Soul breathed out a trail of black smoke that struck Qi Si Ancestor. Immortal killer move, Heavenly Astral Battle Cloak. Qi Si Ancestor flew back. The Heavenly Astral Battle Cloak melted in the black smoke, but he managed to block this strange attack. Even though Qi Si Ancestor was a newly created Chi Path clone by Fang Yuan, he had incredible strength. He was formed from the Qi harvest fruit of the Celestial Court. With the accompanying immortal GU, his battle strength did not decrease at all. But even so, Qi-Si ancestor was suppressed by spectral soul, he was in a passive state. Qin Ding-ling led the Celestial Court Immortals to help Qi-Si ancestor while sending orders to Spirit Affinity House to summon Feng Kim Hoang to join the battle. Feng Kim Hoang had Dream Path Immortal GU that could fight pure Dream Reality Seeker transformation, he could easily break through Fang Yuan's defense line. Qin Ding-ling had always treated Fang Yuan as the main target of elimination. Fang Yuan's main body was inside Dragon Palace. He watched the battle while refining Heaven Path Dao marks as quickly as possible. Master, we are here. In the chaotic battle, Fairy Myrtle and Old Man Zheng Yuan led a small group and joined the battle. Before the Celestial Court GU Immortals could react, someone flew over from the horizon. Let me join in the fun. Chapter 2048. In the chaotic three-way battle, Fairy Myrtle's group and Demon Immortal Qi Ju suddenly joined the battle. The situation became even more complicated. Go block the Celestial Court. Spectral Soul ordered. Fairy Myrtle and Old Man Zheng Yuan attacked. Killer moves were like waves of light that swept towards Qin Ding-ling and the rest. Other than Qi-Si ancestor, Qin Ding-ling and the rest were inside the Immortal GU house. They were not afraid of Spectral Soul's reinforcements. But the Celestial Court's Immortals were furious. They were not angry at Fairy Myrtle and Old Man Zheng Yuan's betrayal, but at Spectral Soul's enslavement method. Towards Fairy Myrtle and Old Man Zheng Yuan's loyalty, the Celestial Court trusted them greatly. The Celestial Court's Immortals knew why these two betrayed them. It was because of Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul chuckled. How does it feel to fight your own people? Whether we can save them or not will depend on your methods. If we miss this chance today, we might not get it again in the future. The Celestial Court's Immortals heard this and their attacks froze. Qin Ding-ling's brows were sharp like swords. She frowned as she ordered, Spectral Soul wants us to hold back, he wants to stall for time. He does not need to care about Zi Wei and Zheng Yuan's lives. If we kill them, we will be able to free them. At the crucial moment, Qin Ding-ling displayed the foresight of a leader. She was decisive and resolute. Spectral Soul heard this and raised his brows slightly. His movements became faster as he pounced at Qing Cho again. Qing Cho quickly fell into a disadvantage in the battle. Stop him. Seeing that Spectral Soul was going to use the same trick again to extract strength from Qing Cho, Qin Ding-ling quickly asked for help. Ancestor, please help. Even without her reminder, Qi-Si ancestor had already pounced at Spectral Soul. But at the next moment, a Qi current surged out like a heavenly river, obstructing Qi-Si ancestor. Qi-Si ancestor stopped his movements as he looked at the attacker, Qi Ju. Demon Immortal Qi Ju smiled as he blocked the path. Qi-Si, you were disrupted by the Celestial Court in the previous battle, you are still not satisfied. This time, let us have a fair duel. The hearts of the Immortals of the Celestial Court sank. At the crucial moment, Demon Immortal Qi Ju was actually Spectral Soul's help. What kind of agreement did the two parties reach? Fairy Myrtle was also overjoyed. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was definitely an unexpectedly strong reinforcement. Purple light flashed in her eyes. She had an epiphany. A long time ago, Demon Immortal Qi Ju started to wantonly purchase inheritances in Jewel Yellow Skies, involving all paths. He was a character from the Olden Antiquity era. He was reborn after Fate GU was destroyed. With the help of these inheritances, he can quickly catch up to the current Great Era. The reason why Qi Ju is helping us is most likely because his lord has made a deal with Qi Ju and sold a large amount of inheritance to him. Fairy Myrtle's guess was spot on. Even though Demon Immortal Qi Ju did not expose his identity in Jewel Yellow Skies, he did not conceal himself. His actions and intentions were clear. If the Celestial Court could discover Demon Immortal Qi Ju's actions, how could Spectral Soul not? Because of historical reasons, Demon Immortal Qi Ju and the Celestial Court could not cooperate. But Spectral Soul was also a demonic path cultivator. He had a vast number of inheritances. He was the most ideal transaction partner for Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Fang Yuan, you cannot escape today. Spectral Soul smiled coldly. He got onto Qing Cho's back again. At the next moment, he attacked. Qing Cho roared, but its strength was rapidly absorbed by spectral soul again. As an immemorial soul beast, even with the quasi-rank 9 hatred GU, Ching Cho was completely countered by spectral soul. Ching Cho's aura fell rapidly, while spectral soul was energized. After he was done sucking, he kicked Ching Cho and sent it flying down. Next, he charged at Fang Yuan at lightning speed. Immortal Killer Move, Pure Dream Reality Seeker Transformation. The dream realms surrounding Dragon Palace suddenly lost a huge chunk. They turned into pure dream reality seeker physique bodies that flew into Spectral Soul's immortal aperture. Spectral Soul actually had enough immortal GU to activate the Killer Move Pure Dream Reality Seeker Transformation. He had intentionally let Fang Yuan go earlier. He did not use his methods immediately. This time, he got rid of Ching Cho. He used reinforcements to block the Celestial Court and Qi Si Ancestors group. He attacked Fang Yuan again. The Immortals were moved. The entire battle seemed to be under Spectral Soul's control from start to finish. In history, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was famous for his bloodthirst, but that did not mean he only had one way to solve problems: kill. He was also cold, crafty, and sinister. It was just that when he was alive, he did not need to use any methods. He could use his own strength to kill anyone who did not submit to him. Right now, Spectral Soul's strength was not much weaker than his enemies. Thus, he used all sorts of methods to increase his strength. At once, a large number of dream realms were absorbed and taken back by Spectral Soul. Fairy Myrtle and the rest fought against the Celestial Court, while Qi Si Ancestor fought against Demon Immortal Qi Ju. He was at a disadvantage. Demon Immortal Qi Ju had the secluded domain of Heaven and Earth Shi. It countered Qi Si Ancestor, who was of the same path as him. The situation was dangerous. Fang Yuan could not use dream realms to block the enemies. The door of Dragon Palace suddenly opened. Several pure dream reality seeker physique bodies flew out, breaking through the defense of the dream realms and attacking Spectral Soul. Bam bam bam! The pure dream reality seeker physique bodies self-detonated, turning into dream realms that spread in the air. Spectral Soul quickly dodged. He was not enveloped by the dream realms. But using this chance, Wu Shuai activated Dragon Palace and entered the other side of the dream realms. Myriad Year Flying Warship followed closely behind. The two immortal GU houses' intention of escaping was clear. "Where do you think you are going?" Spectral Soul shouted coldly. He quickly bypassed the dream realms and got closer. Fang Yuan was his main target. He had to kill him. This was a rare opportunity. Wherever Fang Yuan escaped to, Spectral Soul would chase after him. Spectral Soul stared at Dragon Palace and Myriad Year Flying Warship. His eyes flickered with killing intent that was determined to kill them. At the next moment, Dragon Palace and Myriad Year Flying Warship split up, retreating in two different directions. Spectral Soul was stunned. What should he do? Myriad Year Flying Warship and Dragon Palace were hidden in the Dream Realms, isolated from the outside. The current Spectral Soul did not know which immortal GU house Fang Yuan was hiding in. Spectral Soul was only one person. He could not chase after two immortal GU houses at the same time. But Spectral Soul made a decision almost instantly. He shouted, "Demon Immortal Qi Ju, chase after Myriad Year Flying Warship. After this is done, I will reward you handsomely." Demon Immortal Qi Ju snickered as he used Qi Land to absorb Qi Si Ancestor's killer move. He easily escaped and chased after Myriad Year Flying Warship. Meanwhile, Spectral Soul was still in charge of Dragon Palace. Fairy Myrtle also received the order and slowly retreated. "What do we do?" The Celestial Court's GU Immortals asked Qin Dingling. Qin Dingling looked at Fairy Myrtle and the rest. She said without hesitation, "Kill Fang Yuan first." But the problem that troubled Spectral Soul earlier was also troubling Celestial Court's group. Which immortal GU house was Fang Yuan in? Just guess, gamble on luck. Qin Dingling frowned. Even though she did not want to do this, Celestial Court lacked Wisdom Path GU Immortals. They could only do this. "I can help you." Fairy Myrtle suddenly stopped retreating. "I have a method to deduce Fang Yuan's location." The Celestial Court's Immortals were stunned. "What method? How long will it take?" Qi Si Ancestor asked. "With our help, it will only take a moment." Bing Sai Chuan's voice resounded. The immortals turned around and saw that Calamity Luck Altar was flying towards them. They finally arrived. Fairy Myrtle let out a breath of air. These people from Longevity Heaven were naturally summoned by her. Earlier, Fairy Myrtle and the rest had received orders from Spectral Soul to conceal Longevity Heaven and sneak an attack on Celestial Court. But the situation changed too quickly. Fairy Myrtle analyzed the situation on the way and made plans to borrow the power of Longevity Heaven. After obtaining Spectral Soul's permission, Fairy Myrtle immediately contacted Longevity Heaven. Calamity Luck Altar flew closer as Bing Sai Chuan said, "My master said that we do not need too many chess players in this world." The immortals' hearts shook. Bing Sai Chuan's master was naturally Giant Sun Immortal. All sorts of signs showed that this Venerable had deep plans. He still had a deep will and strength left in the world. Currently, Fang Yuan was the one with the highest chance of becoming a Venerable. Immortal Zombie Giant Sun naturally did not want this to happen. For the sake of his future plans, he had to eliminate Fang Yuan before he became strong enough. Qin Ding Ling gritted her teeth. She fell into a difficult decision. Cooperate with Spectral Soul and Longevity Heaven? The former was a demonic path cultivator, while the latter was a strong enemy in the Fate War. They were both involved in the destruction of Fate Gu. Cooperate with these people? Qin Ding Ling only thought for a few breaths of time before saying through gritted teeth, "Okay." Chapter 2049. I'm very sorry. Recently, my updates have been very unstable, and I've taken leave every few days. In fact, I understand everyone's pain very well. Because I'm not only an author, but also a reader. When I read a certain web novel and take leave every few days, my reading experience will be very uncomfortable. I'll be disappointed, I'll be angry, and sometimes I'll even curse in my heart, this author is really an idiot. However, the truth is very cruel. Although I don't want to admit it, I have to say, regarding the issue of the recent updates, I'm that idiot author. I really want to update steadily, or even add chapters, or explode chapters. Therefore, I've made a greater promise than before. Which author doesn't want to update steadily and frequently? For web novels, frequent updates means popularity and income. Which author doesn't want to make life difficult for their wallet? I'm a mortal, I'm a layman, of course I also want to earn more money. But the cruel truth tells me I'm not capable enough. I'm really not capable enough. I can't update steadily, or add chapters. I can only take leave frequently, think hard, and then write it out bit by bit. Some readers will ask, didn't you update steadily in the past? Then I can only answer these readers with a bitter smile. Yes, I used to update steadily, and even add chapters, or explode chapters. But that was in the early and middle stages of novel writing. Novel writing gets harder as it goes on. In the early stages, it's like drawing on a blank piece of paper. In the middle stages, the clues are scattered, and you follow them patiently. In the late stages, it's the most difficult, because you have to collect all the scattered clues, fill in all the holes, and let all the characters have their own ending. To this extent, the later stages of the novel are truly qualified for the later stages. The later stages of a novel with 1,000,000 words are difficult, the later stages of a novel with 2,000,000 words are very difficult, and the later stages of a novel with 3,000,000 words are even more difficult. Our novel has more than 6,000,000 words, so you can imagine the difficulty. The novel Venomous GU Master is different from most web novels. Usually, the plot of web novels is linear, and it goes on for a very, very long time. The map is constantly changing, many, many times. Almost all the characters in the early and middle stages, except for the main supporting characters, almost disappear in the later stages of the novel. As for Venomous GU Master, it's more like a stage, a big stage. No matter what kind of characters, they have a chance to appear in the later stages. I won't mention important supporting characters like Bai Ning Bing and Hei Lulan. Let me give you an example, Qing Hui Zi. This person encountered Demon Immortal Qi Ju and fell into a dangerous situation, but thankfully Demon Immortal Qi Ju did not take his life. In fact, Qing Hui Zi is a minor character in the middle of this book, and I've mentioned him briefly. Another example was Mo Clan's Plump Lady. This character appeared during Fang Yuan's immortal zombie period. At the end of the book, she appeared again. Moreover, her appearance affected Mo Li. And Mo Li and Peng Da's encounters would affect other characters. Every character had their own thoughts, their own joys and sorrows. Their every action, whether intentional or unintentional, would cause the lives of other characters to change. I think that only such a novel world can be called spiritual. Therefore, Venerable Gu's plot design was very complicated and difficult. Especially in the later stages, the 5 regions and 2 heavens stage. So many people. Every time I put pen to paper, I was very cautious. If I'm not careful, I'll eat my settings, my character will collapse, or my logic will be wrong. And this was only the difficulty of the main text. There was another part of the novel that was several times more difficult than the main text. Needless to say, everyone knew that was the Legends of Ren Zhu. The Legends of Ren Zhu was very difficult. Not only did I have to create a legend, I also had to create a legend that surpassed Pangu's creation of heaven and earth, Nua's creation of man, and Adam and Eve's level. Because the latter did not involve philosophy, but the Legends of Ren Zhu contained philosophy, it was deeper, and could be read in detail. Because the dialogues and plots I designed had to follow a certain path. Let's give an example. Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance killed Hatred Gu, but found out that Hatred Gu could not be killed. This plot was very simple, but it contained a very simple path. Revenge breeds revenge. Hatred cannot be used to extinguish hatred. To get rid of hatred, other methods were needed. Another example. Ren Zhu refined wealth Gu, he used hardship Gu, worry Gu, and sorrow Gu. Next, stupidity Gu was deceived and died. Wisdom Gu was also deceived, but it escaped in the end. Eventually, Ren Zhu lost both his hands and refined wealth Gu. This plot was a description of wealth. Earning wealth was very difficult, maintaining wealth required a sense of hardship, and losing wealth would cause sorrow. Foolish people would die in excess of wealth, while wise people would often be blinded by wealth, but truly wise people would eventually see through this point. Finally, wealth was created by the hands of humans. There were many more examples like this. I felt that the Legends of Ren Zhu was much more difficult than normal web novels. It also got harder as it progressed. Because I had to write about Ren Zhu's 10 children, how to destroy the 9 heavens, and some foreshadowing, Qian Kuan Crystal Wall, in the later stages. The main text was difficult, but the Legends of Ren Zhu was even more difficult. And what I had to do was to skillfully combine the two. This was an extremely difficult task. At least to me, it was extremely difficult. I had to write the Legends of Ren Zhu chapter by chapter, and then skillfully insert them into the main text, adding the finishing touch to the main text. And the order of these chapters could not be messed up, they could not be reversed. To speak the truth, my pressure was immense. Especially recently, I often could not sleep, I could only barely fall asleep at 3 or 4 in the morning. Thinking about the plot, thinking about the Legends of Ren Zhu made my head feel like it was burning. I remembered that a few days ago, I made an appointment with an old Chinese doctor. But the night before, I was anxious and could not sleep. I organized the outline and slept at 2 or 3 in the morning. But the next day, I did not even have breakfast and rushed to the hospital. There was a traffic jam, causing the appointment to be missed, and I had to wait until the afternoon to register again. I might as well make another appointment, but that would have to wait until next week. Right now, China's medical resources were getting more and more scarce. I usually would not say such things, it was not because of my reputation, but because I felt that as a man, I would not act pitifully to gain sympathy. I was only saying it now to express reality. I hope everyone can understand my current writing state. Actually, there were many times when I was thinking, should I give up on the Legends of Ren Zhu? Or should I just write it casually? I would be able to get stable updates every day. It was fine if the quality of the article was bad, but at least the readers would not be too disgusted. With updates every day, I would get paid every day, why not? But when I thought about it again, I could not. There were many readers who had been following me for many years, reading until now. At the later stages, I had to write such a dry and insincere article to brush them off. That was not possible. My original intention in writing this book was to write about a different demon. Regardless of anything else, it was just a pure desire to write. Whether it sold well or not was secondary, whether my wallet was full or not was secondary, whether I could eat well or not is secondary. So, could I just be sloppy towards the later stages of the book? That was not possible. If I did that, I would be letting down my years of hard work and blood. I would be letting down my initial ambition and initial intention. What I wanted to see was that the later stages of the book were good, up to my standards, and above average. Everyone was reading along now, 1 chapter a day, but it was actually hard to tell if it was good or bad. Because the vision was limited. Only after reading a large portion of the book at a fast speed could one realize the standard of the novel. I did not want to see similar comments. Gu Dao Master was good in the first and middle stages, but it collapsed in the later stages. There were a bunch of logical errors. The author just ate random settings. The Legends of Ren Zhu was written like dog shit. It was really disappointing. This was a very crucial period for the book. It was very difficult. Not only did I feel unprecedented difficulty in writing, but every time my ideas failed, I would feel small and insignificant, a deep sense of defeat. But I would not give up. I would rather focus on quality, putting aside quantity and remuneration. I hope that everyone can be more understanding and more tolerant. If you really can't understand, I suggest that everyone put it aside. Because to be honest, reading along like this would indeed affect the reading experience. I suggest that everyone wait until the book is completed before reading again. If there is a genuine subscription support, then thank you very much for your support. I really spent too much effort on this book. Finally, I am very sorry, there was still no update today. The results of the ideas these 2 days were still too poor, so I rejected it. I decided to make some changes to the outline. The plot of Fang Yuan being chased is very complicated, because I will use a different writing method. I still need to think about the characters involved in it before I can write it with confidence. I will make an appointment with everyone. In the future, as long as there was no update between 8 p.m. and 8:10 p.m., it meant that there was no update for that day. Everyone, please stop reading and wait for the update. In the later stages of the book, the updates are not very optimistic. I reckon that it will not be able to continue. It is very difficult to stabilize the updates. I suggest that everyone put it aside and look at other outstanding web novels. If you really want to read this book, you can start from the beginning. Many readers are reading it 5 or 6 times. I am confident that Venomous GU can be read over and over again. Recently, there are many readers reading this book again, and there are also a few kind-hearted people who contact me through WeChat or QQ if they see any typos or mistakes. I will correct these mistakes as long as I see them. I am preparing to do a large-scale revision of this book during this period of time. I am using the Pinyin input method, and there are many typos. I did not do a good job in this aspect. I will correct it. I am very embarrassed after saying so much. Of course, I would rather use the time I used to write this manuscript to write the Legends of Ren Zhu. But after reading so many reviews, I feel that there is a need to communicate with everyone. Thank you for your support all this while. Venomous GU thanks you. If everyone does not support me, I can understand. Please have a safe journey. Good people live a peaceful life. Thank you for your support. Because this is indeed because I did not do it well, I am not capable enough. In the later stages, even though I want to, I am unable to steadily update. I can only write like this to write a novel that meets my standards. I might let down some of my readers by doing this. But I feel that as an author, I must first not let down my own work. Venomous GU is like my child, I have raised it up step by step. I can't mess up this work when it's almost done. Chapter 2050. Recently, quite a number of friends have given me many valuable suggestions. Someone said, Daoist, we can first finish writing the main text, then add on the Legends of Ren Zhu. Thank you for your suggestion, but it is actually very difficult to implement. The main text and the Legends of Ren Zhu complement each other. If the main text is written, it will be like a large building, and then stuffing a small house inside. the legends of Renzu. In the end, it will look very awkward, and it will destroy the space and beauty of the layout. This is a good idea, and I have actually thought of it before. But if we really implement it this way, the quality of the legends of Renzu will be very bad. Because building a house inside a completed building will have very little room for improvement. Although I won't accept this suggestion, I still sincerely thank you. There is also another suggestion that I have accepted. A reader friend said, "Daoist, why don't you write some side chapters while you are thinking about it? These side chapters are also very interesting." I thought about it, and this suggestion is really good. Although these side chapters also have to test the setting and logic, the difficulty of thinking about it and writing it is much easier than the main text and the legends of Renzu. Thus, today, I added on the second chapter of the Legends of Reckless Barbaric. Everyone can go to Chidyen, Daoist GU, and read about it. This side chapter is free, and I won't take any money. Everyone can read it for free, and it can also be considered as my apology to everyone for this period of time. Also, today, I corrected many typos. Specifically, in the first chapter, there are 2, 3, 8, 9, 15, 16, 17, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 42, 44, 45, 47, 48, 50. Chapter 2051. Winds howled in the desert, warm winds blew in Qing province. Sandstones piled up into mountains, steam rose. Under the sandstones was a tranquil lake, there were lush trees, the leaves rustled in the evening breeze, creating a scene of Western Desert paradise. The headquarters of the Western Desert's Qing clan's blessed land was located in this oasis known as the Green Province. Almost all of Qing clan's GU immortals were gathered here. On the cold floor tiles of the hall, there were several GU worm fragments. They attracted the gazes of Qing clan's GU immortals. Qing Heng's life tablet GU shattered. How can this be? Qing Heng sacrificed himself. He left the clan to deal with Southern Border's GU immortal Mingyu. Did he really die at Mingyu's hands? Qing Heng was a rank 7 expert of Qing clan. Since he was sent to deal with Mingyu, he was naturally favored by the clan. Recently, for some reason, the secret of Qing clan obtaining Divine Bin Palace had spread. Other superforces were probing them. Qing Heng's death made Qing clan suspect the truth. Was this a probe from Western Desert's forces? Report. There are accurate battle reports. Mingyu killed Qing Heng. This person has incredible strength. He is ruthless and cruel. Qing clan's GU immortals were furious. Outer region GU immortals are going too far. Kill this Mingyu, turn his bones into ashes, let the other Western Desert forces see the consequences of offending our Qing clan. Before killing him, we should capture Mingyu alive and invite other Western Desert GU immortals to attend the ceremony. Only by tearing out Mingyu's tendons and torturing him in front of everyone, until he dies will I be able to vent my anger. Kill him. A mere outer region GU immortal came to our Western Desert alone and dared to kill our clan's GU immortals. He truly does not know his limits. Even though Mingyu defeated Qing Heng, he only has rank 7 cultivation level. If First Supreme Elder makes a move, we will be overestimating him. Rumors will spread that our Qing clan is bullying the weak. In my opinion, we should send Qing Jing and Qing Hualan together. No, to ensure that nothing goes wrong, we should send Qing Chen as well. With the 3 immortals working together, we can definitely capture that Mingyu. Let him have a good taste of pain and regret. Hurry. Don't let this little bastard escape. Kill Mingyu and raise the prestige of our Qing clan. Mingyu is dead for sure. When our clan completely refines Divine Bin Palace in the future, our Qing clan will ascend to the peak of Western Desert's GU immortal world. These words echoed in Qing Chou's ears and scenes appeared in Qing Chou's mind. Completely different from the fragmented memories of the past, this time, the memories showed a complete picture. At the same time, the hatred in his heart surged like a raging tide, engulfing Qing Chou's body and mind. Hate. How hateful. Harboring even more hatred, Ching Cho opened its eyes. Tens of thousands of years had passed. Ching Cho's eyes were red like blood. It soon realized that it was lying on the ground. It immediately recalled that when it fought with Spectral Soul earlier, it was struck down by the latter and fell from the sky. Roar! Ching Cho shouted as it stood up from the deep pit. Hatred Gu's rank 9 aura became denser. The power of hatred surged out again and spread throughout Ching Cho's body. Mingyu, Mingyu. Spectral Soul, Spectral Soul. Ching Cho roared at the sky. Its eyes were bloodshot and its hair was disheveled. Even though Spectral Soul was chasing after Dragon Palace, the power of hatred Gu allowed Ching Cho to know Spectral Soul's location clearly. Rumble. Ching Cho's tortoiseshell was like a mountain. It had tiger claws and dragon tail. It had a snake neck and a human head. It flew up and created intense wind pressure as it chased after Spectral Soul. It ignored Fairy Myrtle and the rest who were setting up the formation in the sky. Among these Gu immortals, there was an old Gu immortal in a grey robe. His white hair was fluttering in the wind. He was Fang Yuan's Qi-Si clone, Qi-Si ancestor. Qi-Si ancestor saw that Ching Cho flew away as he let out a breath of air. He was relieved of his worries. Back in Western Desert, even though Fang Yuan used familiar face to disguise himself, he was still chased by Ching Cho. Ching Cho had hatred Gu. It was also affected by Karma Divine Tree. It had a strong connection to Spectral Soul, as well as his relatives and subordinates. Fang Yuan's main body could not hide from Ching Cho. Qi-Si ancestor was Fang Yuan's clone. With this connection, Ching Cho could sense him as well. But now, Spectral Soul and Fang Yuan were opposing each other. Both wanted the other to die. Thus, Fang Yuan and Spectral Soul became enemies. He was no longer a thorn in Ching Cho's side. Even though Ching Cho's worries are gone, Fairy Myrtle is in quite a bit of trouble. Qi-Si ancestor turned his gaze towards Fairy Myrtle. Fairy Myrtle was dressed in a purple gold palace dress. Her skin was white as snow and her hair was long like a waterfall. She had a mysterious and graceful figure. She was flying in the sky. Her hands were moving continuously. Her fingers were like butterflies. All sorts of Gu worms flew out and connected with each other. In the sky, an exquisite wisdom path immortal formation was already in its embryonic form. It was starting to take shape. Old man Zhang Yuan was helping from the side. Qin Dingling, Che Wei, and the other celestial court Gu immortals looked at Fairy Myrtle with complex expressions. There was hatred and anger, as well as pity. A 3-layered round altar was floating in the sky, almost sticking close to the wisdom path formation. White jade railings shined with golden light. It was rank 8 luck path immortal Gu House Calamity Luck Altar. Calamity Luck Altar was controlled by Bing Sai Chuan. His gaze was sharp like an eagle. He stared at the celestial court Gu immortals and Qi-Si ancestor, not daring to relax. Calamity Luck Altar protected Fairy Myrtle and the rest, as well as the wisdom path formation. Longevity Heaven, which represented Giant Sun Immortal, had already cooperated with Shadow Sect, which was led by Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan has the potential to become a Venerable. We cannot allow him to do as he pleases. Letting a demon like him become a Venerable is not beneficial to any of us. Bing Sai Chuan was still transmitting to Qin Dingling, Qi-Si ancestor, and the rest. He did not know that Qi-Si ancestor was Fang Yuan's clone. Qin Dingling only listened to the transmission. She did not speak. Strong winds blew in the sky. Her cloak fluttered in the wind. Her golden armor stuck to her body, making her look even taller and more alluring. She stared at the wisdom path formation at times, while looking at the dream realm at other times. This dream realm was left behind by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had placed his hopes on the dream realm to stop the enemy, but he was instead schemed against by Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan had no choice but to leave the battlefield, but this dream realm remained on the spot. It was beautiful and moving continuously. Where is Fang Yuan now? I only saw Dragon Palace and Myriad Year flying warship flying away from the dream realm, leaving this battlefield. Thus, there is a third possibility of Fang Yuan's location. He is still hiding in this dream realm. Qin Dingling thought to herself. Precisely because of this reason, she stayed behind to watch over this dream realm. Fang Yuan was too crafty. It seemed foolish to stay behind in the dream realm, but there was a possibility that Fang Yuan was purposely doing the opposite. Seeing that the wisdom path formation was nearing completion, Qi ancestor felt immense pressure. I cannot wait any longer. Thoughts moved rapidly in Qi ancestor's mind. He continued to think, looking at Fairy Myrtle's situation, with Bai Ningbing, Ying Wuxie, and the rest as clues. This formation probably has the ability to deduce the main body's location. The main body does not have much attainment in information path. If he has deep information path attainment, he can sever the alliance relationship with Bai Ningbing and He Lulan. Even if there are 2 or 3 more Fairy Myrtle, it would be useless. Fairy Myrtle and the rest are strong. They are also protected by Calamity Luck Altar. Bing Sai Chuan and the rest are very wary of Celestial Court's immortals. If I suddenly make a move now, I will not be able to destroy the formation. Celestial Court will also get suspicious. The Qi clone had the strength, but he could not make the final decision and suppress everyone. The crucial person was still Qin Dingling. Qi ancestor listened to Bing Sai Chuan's persuasion while secretly asking Qin Dingling, looking at this situation, Shadow Sect and Longevity Heaven are very confident in the wisdom path formation. But can we trust them? Regardless of whether Fairy Myrtle can deduce the result or not, the formation is still under her control. If she gives an answer, how will we know if it is right or wrong? Or is Fairy Myrtle hiding it from us? The Qi clone started to sow discord. He could not let Bing Sai Chuan win over the Celestial Court's GU immortals. If that was the case, the main body would be pursued by Shadow Sect, Longevity Heaven, and Celestial Court. The pressure would be too great. If it was the Celestial Court from the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, it would be extremely arrogant. It would not cooperate with other forces. But Fate GU was destroyed by Fang Yuan. Celestial Court's spiritual banner was destroyed. They were attacked several times. Celestial Court suffered huge losses and their reputation fell. It could be said that the number one force of humanity only existed in name now. It was widely doubted. Celestial Court's GU immortals were all elites. They learned from their mistakes and started to change. Celestial Court, led by Qin Dingling, started to cooperate with them. They lowered their pride. Earlier, Qin Dingling took the initiative to help Qi ancestor chase away demon immortal Qi Ju. This was proof. Thus, the possibility of Celestial Court working together with Shadow Sect and Longevity Heaven was not low. The Qi clone's words hit the nail on the head. Celestial Court and Fairy Myrtle lacked the most basic trust. This way, whether Fairy Myrtle's deductions succeeded or not, what difference did it make? Qin Dingling was silent for a while before transmitting to Qi ancestor. Qi ancestor, please go and chase after Dragon Palace and Spectral Soul. Qi ancestor was slightly stunned. Do you already know Fang Yuan's location? I don't know. Qin Dingling smiled at Qi ancestor. The Qi clone looked at Qin Dingling deeply before coming to a realization. Qin Dingling knew what was going on. She had never trusted Fairy Myrtle who joined Shadow Sect. Longevity Heaven was also jackals of the same tribe. It would be foolish to trust them. The reason why she stayed here was to supervise the Dream Realm and also to reorganize the situation. Celestial Court lacked peak rank 8 battle strength. If they chased after them from Celestial Court, they would lose their terrain advantage. They seemed to be acting aggressively, but if they were careless, they would suffer huge losses. Celestial Court was already at a stage where they could not afford to lose. Qin Dingling naturally had to restrain herself and be steady. Right now, Spectral Soul chased after Dragon Palace, Qing Cho chased after Spectral Soul, while Demon Immortal Qi Ju chased after Myriad Year Flying Warship. Qin Dingling knew that Demon Immortal Qi Ju who had she land countered Qi ancestor too much. Even if Myriad Year Flying Warship had Fang Yuan, Qi ancestor could not do anything to Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Instead, if Qi ancestor chased after Spectral Soul, he could influence the situation. For Celestial Court, Fang Yuan had to be eliminated. Shadow Sect was the same. Longevity Heaven was also not a good person. But Celestial Court's strength was different from before. It was very weak now. Even if Qi ancestor stood on Celestial Court's side, he was still not a member of Celestial Court. Qin Dingling heaved a deep sigh. Fang Yuan is extremely crafty. This division of troops seems simple, but it actually greatly reduces the pressure on him. We have no choice but to stop temporarily. Spectral soul is stronger than demon immortal Qi Ju. If he kills Fang Yuan and obtains the spoils of war, the former demon Venerable will rise again. Qi Si ancestor, please make a plan for the sake of the people. It is best to let these two demons exhaust each other and let our righteous path become the final winner. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.